Welcome, guys, to Disconnected. I'm here with Disconnected, and I'm here, and it's me. Oh crap! Eric says send him the link whenever he's ready.
He's got to check his messages, man. There he is.
There he is, and we're joined by Eric.
What's going on, dude? Now that we're live,
just in time. 28 seconds late, Eric. What the fuck? I'm just kidding, dude. So that Bond box set in your background, that is what I heard is roughly how big the Shaw Brothers set's going to be.
Nice.
Like same dimension. So it looks nice to see a comparison.
Yeah.
Halloween's over, finally. Fuck, I can recommend Ryan shit that's he'll actually watch it. God.
The thing is, I'm still watching my watch list till we're all done. Oh. And we're behind by a lot.
I watched a total of 2 sniper movies for Snipetober before I called it quits.
So you watched about 1.5 too many.
Dude, there's not maybe Enemy at the Gates. What's going on, Dave? Maybe Enemy at the Gates is the only good sniper movie. Shooter, with Mark Wahlberg is okay. That got a TV show with 3 seasons.
There is a bunch of good sniper movies, just none from that series.
No. You shut your mouth. This is a masterpiece. Okay. Waiting for Vinegar Syndrome to release 4Ks of this or whatever, because they did Scanner Cop and Tick, so they might as well just scrape the bottom of the barrel of something else.
Not only that, they did Scanner Cop 2 in 4K as well.
You're proving my point right there. Do you guys want to talk about what we've watched this week? Because I watched something that blew my mind and made me very uncomfortable.
Let's do it. Go ahead. Go first.
Well, I'm going to start off and say, first thing I watched since we, hung up last time is I watched the Thunderbolt Fantasy movies because we were I was talking to you guys about them. I actually linked both of you, and only Ryan responded. Eric, did you watch that thing I sent you of the puppets?
No, are you sure you linked me?
You got to check your messages.
Is it on Twitter?
It's on Twitter. Yep. And then
What's going on, Jeff?
What's going on, Jeff? I rewatched The Outsider, Jared Leto. Not a good movie. Old Boy, I love Old Boy. But I watched Titan, and I did it kind of out of the blue. I was just scrolling on Amazon, and it was like theater releases, and it was like, and I was that or Cop Shop. Cop Shop was like $20, and Titan was like $6.99 or $7.99 or something. So I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna watch this." And then the whole time I was like horny and confused, like severely. I thought Crash was weird with the cars. This makes Crash look like a family-friendly movie. Like, I'm at a loss for words. It's the same director who did Raw, which Ryan and I talked about a couple nights ago. I don't really remember much of Raw. I remember it grossing me out and almost turning me vegetarian because it was pretty graphic. This is incredible, though. Like, this is a good movie. I'll probably watch it again. It gave me the same feeling as the new Suspiria movie at the end.
Okay.
Like, imagine that feeling at the end of Suspiria, but throughout the entire movie.
Okay.
Because I was turned on during that, and I was also like, what's going on?
That's why you keep texting me all those Tilda Swinton memes.
Well, not her. Not my type. The other ones. And I watched Sympathy for Lady Vengeance last night. It's my favorite Park Chan-wook film. I think it's the best out of that trilogy.
I like it a lot.
It's so fucking good.
The editing in that film is insane.
It does that thing where you think you see shit that you actually don't, especially during where she's showing the children getting, like, in my mind, I remember being like, it fucking shows it. And that's why I have a hard time going back to it. And rewatching it this time, I was like, man, they edit like just perfectly at the point where you're about to see something. It's such a good movie. So good. And I've been watching Bosch. I watched 1 season of Bosch. I'm hooked on it. I fucking love it. It's a cop show. It's funny. It's gory. It's got great writing. It's paced incredibly well. So that's what I've been watching.
What's going on, Ice?
Ice.
After you finish Bosch, you have to promise me finally that you will watch The Shield. God damn it.
I'm gonna watch The Shield. That's next. I actually bought The Shield. I went to better than Old Boy Sympathy. I think so.
And keep in mind, he is talking about the Old Boy remake because that is his favorite.
Yes, especially the Josh Brolin one. Eric, I want to ask you this because I think the trilogy as a whole is really good. Why did Old Boy? Why is that the one that stuck here in the States?
I don't know. Maybe the pacing. It maybe has more genre elements. And the twist was huge too. I just feel like it's a little bit more of a crowd pleaser, whereas the other two are almost more art house, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that, especially for the time. What, 2005?
Yeah, Old Boy was 2003. Yeah.
Oh wow, shit! I was in 6th grade, I think.
I was going to say it was because of the twist. That was the big thing back then. I mean, you got to realize the cultural impact around that time. It's sad, but all of the original memes about M. Night Shyamalan had just started in the few years before that, and everything was super twist heavy. So,
I think, but like watching it, that twist is so disturbing. That I think the first one is probably Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. I think that's probably the most accessible out of the three because it's sad. It deals with heavy themes, but the twist in Old Boy is jarring. Like it is a like the first time you see it, it's a fucking punch. You're like, what? Lady Vengeance deals with, I think, the most heavy subject matter of the three. So like rewatching Old Boy and then Lady Vengeance this last week. God damn.
My phone just fell. The other thing I was going to say is I hate to say it like this, but a lot of American film goers or movie goers, like actual to the cinema, are kind of stupid. And if it would have been called Old Boy 2 here, it might have been a different reception.
Old Boy 2. But
which worst name ever, obviously. Don't call something Old Boy 2, but without a link to that. Like it could have been Old Boy : Sympathy.
Did you guys see the American Old Boy in theaters?
Fuck no.
I remember seeing it because I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm not gonna watch any trailers. I already know what Old Boy is. So I hyped up Old Boy to my friends. And I took them like we all have friends, I'm sure, that are like, oh, foreign movies, especially back then. I hyped them up. We'd go to the theater and they were like, this fucking sucks. This is what you like? And I was like, this was nothing like the original.
You know, I saw the dumbest interview of all time with Old Boy, the remake. Some guy was interviewing Spike Lee, and he says, the interviewer said, Spike, he said, before your movie came out, I watched the original, and I'm like, man, this is a cool movie. And I got halfway through the original film, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to finish this. I want to see what Spike Lee does with it first. So I watched your film, first all the way through. And I was like, I just never understood the logic of that one.
I never understand the logic behind the hype behind Spike Lee. I think he sucks.
I won't agree there fully. I think he's done some masterpieces. What's going on, Flex? But I mean, for the most part, I do think that there is not many directors that I would say has a wider spectrum of achievement to absolute trash.
Yeah. Trying to think. I mean, none of his movies have ever just landed with me. I did like The Five Bloods a little bit, but
that's not one I've seen yet. It's supposed to be good though.
It's all right, but I don't own any of his movies. I don't think I ever will. He's just not a director that just grabs me. And that Old Boy remake was so bad, so bad. What a disappointment, because I like Josh Brolin.
Yeah, I do too. And Olsen was in it too. She's a good actress.
This is what I was going to bring up, because this seems like a flip movie, especially with what you do for a living.
I'm going to come out and say I've never seen that movie.
You absolutely should. It is a very...
Isn't there a Criterion release?
Yeah, and there's also a 4K release since Criterion sucked for a while.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Do the Right Thing is incredible.
Is it a
It
pizza
does.
movie?
Yes.
It's a pizza movie.
Basically, yes. It's about a mom and pop owned Italian restaurant.
Huh. I like Italian people.
I've heard that.
We've had a rough year this year.
Another one from him. What the hell is the actual name?
Just I like Italian people. Yeah, we have had a rough year. Fucking that Sopranos movie sucked.
One you would probably like. Watch Summer of Sam as well.
Mm.
Race relations during a hot day in New York.
And that is putting it mildly.
I mean, they put race relations in a Sopranos movie, and it was awful. It was a terrible movie. But
We're just here allowing you to step on your soapbox about Italian movies.
there's there hasn't been a truly good Italian movie since Gomorrah.
I thought you were going to say Luca.
No. No. Actually, you know what I like about Luca is that they put like little like all the old men are playing Scuba, which is an Italian card game. My grandfather used to make me play that shit every Monday, even if I didn't want to, and he would make me bet my own money. And I'm like, I barely know how to fucking play this game. And he would like win $20 off me every fucking Monday. And I'm like,
Pixar is great with that type of thing.
so like when I saw that, it literally made me cry because he passed away recently. And it made me tear up because I was like, man, I used to bring a $20 bill every Monday, put it in my pocket, and you'd go, Filippo, are you play Scuba? And I would sit down and fucking play Scuba. And I got the Scuba app on my phone. I still play it randomly. It's fun. But no, Gomorrah is the last good Italian movie. Actually,
Go ahead.
Sorry, Irishman. You know, that's a good Italian movie. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, you can stay up on that soapbox just so you can see the edge of the table with us because of the height difference. What would you watch this week there, Eric?
Just Halloween was Sunday, right? So I just watched a few Halloween stuff. Oh, I watched for the first time on Blu-ray. I watched Inferno and Suspiria,
Nice.
and Legend as well. That was a nice night. I did a triple feature, and then on Halloween I watched, of course, the original Halloween, like I always do. And then I finished that K-drama I was working on last week, Be Melodramatic, and that was very good. Romantic comedy. I liked it.
Nice.
I liked it. And I think those are the big ones.
I normally watch 4 different things on Halloween. I have a set 3, and then I put in a 4th, which it's always based on feel for this year. And that 4th one is the only one I was able to watch this year. On Halloween, I watched Beetlejuice again. And my God, that movie is so great.
Yeah.
Holds up perfectly. Set design is incredible. The day before, I watched Coraline, showed my kids that movie. God damn, is it creepy for a kid's movie, but it is so well done. I absolutely think it's Leica Studios' best. However, every time I say that, everybody's like, but what about Kubo? I still haven't seen Kubo, so I am planning on watching that soon. We watched Paranorman and Coraline in the last month, so Kubo will be coming up soon. Last night, I watched The Hollow from 2015. Really interesting folk horror movie from, I believe, Ireland. Really interesting, like the idea of sprites and fairies in the forest manifesting into something sinister. Surprisingly good practical effects. Really well done. Messy plot, but with indie horror like that, that's usually pretty expected. And then the only other real big thing that I want to highlight over the last week, the original Basket Case from 82 or whatever. Such a perfect New York movie. It is so dirty and loud and just like it feels weird to watch it. And all of the Belial stuff is so well done until you actually open your eyes and look at it. But even then, the charm of it is mesmerizing in a way that's like, he's literally just shaking some rubber right now, and it somehow looks real. But Basket Case is so much fun.
He's no Kawato, but he's still good.
What's going on, Mighty?
Is that our first Twitch viewer? What's going on? That's
Hey,
cool.
John.
John. And we got Reese in here as well. You watch Addams Family.
Oh yeah, Addams Family Values, nice. Yeah, normally on Halloween, I always watch the first Halloween, Halloween 3, and Trick or Treat. That's the perfect triple feature there.
Oh, the other thing I watch every Halloween is Witches Night Out, the 30-minute short film, real crudely drawn animation from the 70s. I think Gilda Radner did one of the voices, and I just like that one. I don't know what it is. I always watch that one.
I always watch Halloween H2O.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
God, okay. Back to Jason X.
You tried to get me, but H2O is genuinely fun.
What's
going on, Dustin?
I actually do like Jason X and Halloween H2O because my dad had a heart attack when I was like 11, and my uncle, while my mom and my dad were at the hospital when I was little, took me to his place, and he was like, "What do you want to watch?" And he just put in Halloween H2O and then Jason X and then ICU. Have you guys seen ICU with Stallone?
No, I just got that in from MVD kind of recently.
Dude, underrated movie. Really? It's about a killer who knocks on your door, and when you go to like look who's at the door, he drills into your eye and into your brain. And Stallone's in it, and it's fucking awesome. That movie's so rad. I think it takes place in like Alaska.
Yeah, he's wearing a parka on the cover.
Yeah, it's like somewhere. I don't know. It's such a fucking weird movie, but I have a very fond.
Going on Last Life.
Do you guys want to talk about pickups?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I got. I'm not going to show it off, but I got a lot more Shaw Brothers stuff. I'm sure that gets boring for everybody. I got the Sinbad trilogy,
nice
as well. But then John Gray, friend of me and Ryan's, messaged me and said, "Hey, dude, I'm cleaning out all my DVDs." And I have a bunch of Samurai Cinema and Amigo stuff. And I thought I had a complete collection. I knew I had like maybe 2 or 3 I was missing. But there's one I'd never even heard of. So this one's not an Amigo, but I got Samurai Fiction.
Oh, yeah. That's a cool flick.
It's a very cool flick. I got The Blind Menace. This was before they even were doing Samurai Cinema. So this is the movie that was the stepping stone for Zatoichi.
Oh,
there's no.
By the way, Flip, John brought up here, ICU is also known as Detox, and a lot of people know it as that. So if you're going to look it up, make sure you remember that alternate title.
And then, have you heard of this, Eric? Dorahita?
Yeah. So I don't think I've seen it, though.
I've never even heard of it, but it's directed by Kon Ichikawa, love. And the screenplay is by Masaki Kobayashi, Kon Ichikawa, Keisuke Kinoshita, and Akira Kurosawa.
Damn, that's a name list there.
Yeah, that's 4 people wrote this movie. So on the back here it says in 1969, 4 of Japan's greatest directors, which are the ones I just named, formed the Yonki no Kai, which means 4 Musketeers production company, only to see it close down after its first film was a commercial failure. Now Kon Ichikawa, the last surviving Musketeer, has brought their long-lost samurai classic to the screen as a tribute to his fallen comrade. So this came out in 2000, and it's like a swan song for these guys.
Oh, I did see this. The English title is Alley Cat for some reason.
Yeah, yep, that's what. Yeah,
Koji Gakusho's in it. Damn, that's right.
Now, did you rate this highly?
I rated it a very solid rating. Yeah, very solid.
Do you have the Samurai Assassin from Amigo? Yes, I did. Yes, I do. I
used manipulation more than force. My notes say, which was really interesting.
And like always, Anamigo with their funny warnings. It says, "Warning: contains violence, debauchery, and masterful direction."
Yeah.
So I'm excited to have this. I didn't know that this was a part of the Samurai Cinema collection. I didn't even know this existed. So now I have a complete collection minus Lone Wolf and Cub. And because I got that from Criterion, and then an Actor's Revenge, which they put out as Revenge of a Kabuki Actor. And Flex asked, "Is Samurai Assassin any good?" And yes, it is. Oh, hey, hell yeah! You started Lone Wolf and Cub, the best film series ever. No one's.
I thought we already talked about Halloween H2O.
All right, which is worse, Halloween H2 or Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie?
Oh, Halloween 2 is
H2O.
worse.
H2O
Whoa.
by a long shot.
It's worse. So you
And I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 like a
Eric,
lot.
You guys had different answers.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
of course. I'm not gonna bow to you guys.
Come
Say what I
on.
want.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that all Halloween movies are bad.
I will not agree with that at all.
Nah.
Just Eric, just nah.
I don't see how you could.
I'm just kidding. The first one has a very fond place in my heart, and I'm a sucker for Rob Zombie. Which his
Well-
monsters look good.
Everything he does has been at least good. Except, again, I still have not seen 31.
Yeah. You'll have to see that one.
I will say The Lords of Salem does not get praised enough. The
I
Lords
like
of Salem
that one.
Is
I do too.
fantastic.
I like that one. Yeah,
I
that one
was-
gets.
I honestly like 3 from Hell. I don't know.
It just should, again, I think we already talked about this. It just should not have been attached to the trilogy. If it was just something else, everybody would have said, yeah, this is decent.
Devil's Rejects though is like one of those like I get it. People can say any of his other movies are bad, and I could kind of agree with them. Devil's Rejects is like a genuinely great movie, and it's a great like grindhouse movie, like a modern grindhouse movie. But everyone I know, like fans of that movie, like real fans, are like diehard fans. Like I took a girl out on a date one time, and she had a Captain Spaulding tattoo, and I immediately did not call her back. I was like,
Did she cook you some chicken wings or something?
no. Do you guys like Jason X as Deflex?
It was okay. I think it tried too hard to be a comedy. I think that was its biggest problem. If it actually ramped the comedy back and was a little bit actually played it more serious, I think it would have been better. But it's watchable.
It's got one of the coolest kills where he freezes that girl's head and then
Yeah.
bashes.
Oh, I like the sleeping. I laugh hysterically with the sleeping bag scene in the holodeck.
That's Cronenberg's in that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I like it.
You sharing any pickups this week there, Eric?
Oh, I got some big ones.
Did you finally get your Zangamo set?
No, it's still in Melbourne.
Mine shipped
Jeez.
from Melbourne.
How long did it take for you?
I ordered it on Sunday and
Of this week.
and they shipped it on Monday.
That's bad. Well,
It's in stock at Orbit if you want to cancel.
man, that's bad.
Yeah,
It's been in Melbourne for 2 weeks.
I got the shipping on Monday, and it's still in Australia, but it's shipped.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I'll figure it out.
Flex, so far everybody's saying that Chucky TV series is fantastic. I've not been able to start it yet, but it's supposed to be great.
Did you see that thing I sent you? And it said it's Chucky with a knife, and it says if you make fun of trans kids, your pronouns are going to be were and was.
Yeah.
I just laughed so hard at that.
Yeah, I got the Toshiaki Toyota set in at least.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
a big one.
I ordered
Right.
it from Terracotta.
I get to review a few of these. I'll definitely review Hanging Garden and Monsters Club. Those are the two, and maybe his short films too. That was a big one. That was big. And I got my Yokai Monsters collection.
Now, is that a hardbound box? Yep.
Seems pretty decent. Yeah. It's not the flimsy Bruce Lee style, if that's what you're
No.
worried about.
Someone on Reddit was saying that did you see this post? Someone posted on Reddit and was like, I'm done with Arrow. No more Arrow. And someone wrote that all their collector's editions have been flimsy this year. And
Because they're buying the standard editions.
that's what I want to be like. You're
Either that
a
or
nut.
they're buying the Gialli repackaging, like the yellow set that they did.
Yeah, which is fine. I like that shit. Yokai Monsters, I finally caved and I got it too. Especially now that it's out of print.
I got a bunch from Arrow.
Oh, you did?
Speaking
Nice.
of Italian, I gotta love my Italian heritage here, son. We got Your Vices Are Locked Room, and only
Nice.
I have the key, with what I think is the hottest actress of all time in this film, Edwidge Fenech. However you pronounce her name.
How do you spell this for science?
What, Edwidge Fenech?
Yeah.
I'll bring it up for you.
EDWIGE FENECHE. Edwidge Fenech.
Are you pulling it up there, Ryan?
Yeah, I
Keep
got it.
showing. Lucille Fulci's Black Cat. Hang on.
Nice.
You got the Red Queen kills 7 times.
I love that cover. Huh. Oh,
Go to Your Vice is a Locked Room.
hey. Italians, man.
She's kind of a mixed heritage, I think, though.
Oh, well then fuck her. She's probably dead, right?
No, she's still around.
She's still around.
The Iguana with the Tongue of Fire.
Nice.
This one I actually have not yet seen. Death Smiles on a Murderer. The Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion. I love Giallo titles. They have the best titles ever.
I agree. I still need that one. I was actually just looking that one up.
It's
One of the
opposite.
best. What Have You Done to Solange is one of the best, in my opinion.
So Giallo movies versus Kung Fu titles. Kung Fu titles are just like the brother and his sword. And then Giallo is like a poem, you know?
The Fifth Chord.
You see this flip from John?
I know.
Edwidge Fenwick was in Hostel 2 as the art teacher.
That's a cool-
Mm-hmm.
which-
The Mad Fox.
Love that movie. Love that movie. No, I didn't buy anything from Kino.
And I had to keep going with Masamura's films. Got Black Test Car.
Did you see that they announced Red Angel?
Oh, that's one of his best.
January.
That's a great flick.
Why didn't they just do a fucking box set? Because I mean, he's a great director, but only people like me and you know about him. I feel like a box set would have sold better. These can't be selling that well for them.
And then Warning from Space.
That's
So-
a movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice haul.
Now, Eric, I asked Ryan this before we started. In one cart, I have nothing but noir. In one cart, I have nothing but Giallo. What do I start collecting next?
Oh, I mean, I'm a big Giallo guy, so you're gonna get Giallo as an answer for me.
That's two
Well,
Giallos.
And the other side for him, he has tried noir before, and it
Tried
didn't
noir before.
land. So I
Okay.
said, try Giallo
And I,
and dive in.
and I already
headfirst.
like the Argentos. You know, like I've seen
Tenebra,
Tenebra, Inferno, Mother of Tears. I've seen
Bird of Crystal Plumage. Have you seen his
yes.
earlier ones?
Yes,
You need, well, the big one, you need to get Deep Red. Deep Red is
Mhm.
I've seen
possibly the
I've
best.
seen Deep Red, and I like them. Like I've said before, grandparents didn't speak English, so they had a satellite installed to just get Italian channels. And when they would go to bed when I would spend the night, they would just play Giallo like late at night. So I've seen a lot of them.
Fulci's earlier stuff's really good too.
Amen to that. Like, actually,
Yeah,
really.
legit.
it's not the Fulci meme that you've heard, because a lot of that is about a lot of his late
Mhm.
stuff.
I've
Fulci is
tried
fantastic.
Fulci. I've tried Fulci. I don't like Fulci. I like
Don't
his
Torture
Western.
a Duckling. Have you seen?
That's the one I wanted to
Yes.
bring up.
I have seen Don't Torture. a Duckling.
Really.
Yes.
Alright. What about Lizard in a Woman's Skin? That would be the other one. I would recommend.
I have not seen that one. He did Zombie, right?
Yep.
I did enjoy Zombie.
I mean, it's a movie where a zombie fights a shark. How
I
can
was
you
just
not
about
like
to say that. I was just about to say that.
I saved a handful to talk about. I got in the first US 88 films release, and this is gonna have to be watched soon for sure. I got in
Are you gonna watch that with the family?
with the wife, at least for sure.
Okay.
I did not think Arrow was going to release something this big for this shitty of a movie. This Dune Deluxe Steelbook thing, this is massive. Like, the size of this is worth 3 other boutique releases. It has, I believe, 2 different books in here and a steelbook in a hardbound package, and it's crazy. I am way behind, but I finally got in Vestron's release of The Wraith.
That movie holds up.
Does it though? Flip and I like this one. I think Eric, we mentioned that you watched this too. The new Suicide Squad got in the 4K Steelbook. This has been a hard one to track down. I got real lucky on this one.
I've not
And
seen
then,
that one. I'll get to it.
It is hilarious. Another one of those Lionsgate Steelbooks that they've been killing with those plastic sleeves got in their new release of Hacksaw Ridge 4K. And then the last one, I talk about these guys a lot, and I just want to give another reason for people to pay attention to smaller companies. And I know it's hilarious in this hobby to talk about Diabolic as a smaller company, but it's literally one person that does all of this. It's just Jesse. And then a couple times a year, he gets a couple friends to help him because he's overwhelmed. But
Wait, he packages everything himself?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He does everything. And he does all the website updates and everything by himself. They announced that they were putting out an RLJE title that was from Shudder. And I love Barbara Crampton. I always have. I think she is incredible. One of the greatest, and especially released to the, tied to this genre. She has such a long history. So I knew I wanted to get it. I knew I wanted it in the best possible package. I just happened to find it on Diabolic. And this was like $14, $15. And they put out a tweet that said, the movie Jacob's Wife has been delayed. And you guys are going to be okay with that. Just understand that it's been delayed. And I pre-ordered this with Dune and a couple other things. So I'm getting this like 4 months later than other people after the delay already. And when it showed up, this thing is autographed personally by Larry Fessenden, Barbara Crampton, and the writer, Mark Steensland. And it was $14 or $15. I mean, what other small, personally owned company like that is doing stuff like that? That is incredible. Support Diabolic, support Orbit, support Cinema Classics. There's a couple other smaller ones. Support Grindhouse Video. They are back open in Knoxville, Tennessee. And they will have a physical store open by around February or March. If you're in the area, stop in.
Wait, they have a physical store?
Yes, sir.
Huh. That's awesome. Jesse's got to be making fucking bank.
Not as much as you think. On a lot of these releases, they're literally like the Arrow releases. If they get a pre-order for a release that is selling for $25, they've divulged before that they're literally making like $2.50 on that.
Oh.
Which, that's not that much. If they are moving 1,000 copies, that sounds like a lot, but then you got to realize they still have to package all of those movies and take a whole lot of time to do it. So it's not like they're clearing, $2,500 worth of profit just on that because they're selling 1,000 copies.
How much do they make? You said $1?
It's on some of them. It's a lot slimmer. It's like $2.50.
That sounds like a bad business model.
And it's even worse for other things like Criterion. That's why Grindhouse and Orbit and Diabolic and all these other smaller companies, they can never sell Criterions for less than like $27. And that's because Barnes & Noble are the only ones that are allowed to go down to the $20. Amazon, when they sell them for $20, they're losing money, literally.
And Amazon can afford that.
Correct. Because they'll get people to buy other things in their cart at the same time.
So, I mean, like when I was running a record label and we had to price stuff out because you had to pay, you had to factor in artwork for the inside and outside and the labels and the pressings and the mastering. It came out that we were making about $5 a release.
Yeah.
Which is good if you sell out on everything. But $2 is
But remember, that's for the retailer. Arrow is having profit on the $23, $24 before it gets to Diabolic.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh man, that's just.
So when Diabolic sells you something for like $27, there's probably about $7 profit for everybody that touched that release.
That seems like people who bitch about prices on this shit.
Yep.
I mean, like, how much do you think a profit is on something like, what's a box set on like, on like a big, large box set?
This thing.
Well, yeah, like that.
This thing cost $150. The
Yeah.
box and the movies alone for this are probably about $60 of pure cost for everything, art and everything all in. The licenses for the movie are going to be a big chunk of money here, especially because most of these you're also paying for the transfers because they've never been on Blu-ray before. So
I know to press a disc to actually like get a set of like, let's say 3,000. It's roughly $1. It comes out to about $1 and some change per disc.
Right.
So you're looking at like
a Blu-ray.
Yeah, for a Blu-ray. So you're looking at like a little over 3,000 copies. So right there, that release, if they do 3,000 copies, how many movies are in that?
8,
6?
maybe.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it is 8. You're right.
8 times 3. That's how much $1,000 that you have to fucking do, and it's just
right. And just literally just the price of the discs on this is almost $30.
So that's $24,000, right? $24,000 that Imprint had to pay just to have that release made, not on top of licenses, which I'm sure.
Forgot about this from ICE. Also, they have to pay people to make featurettes. Unless you're a shitty company like Code Red.
Do they not pay people?
I have shared this before. Maybe I shouldn't go on this rant right now. Let me see if I still have the photo while we keep talking about prices. Go ahead. I'll look this up.
So I just want to say I'm friends with the guys over at Discotheque, right? And this is just a difference between anime and movies. Anime pricing is insane, especially right now that we're kind of in an anime bubble where it's really popular. Everyone wants anime. Everyone watches anime. It's like a pop culture thing at this point. Anime pricing is so astronomically expensive. Sometimes, like One Piece is like $1 million an episode. Some things on average, it's like $1,000 an episode. So if you have a show that's 25 episodes, that's 25 grand right off the top that you have to pay just to get the license for that show. So, and then plus artwork, plus remastering, plus audio, subtitles. You have to pay, there's so many things that go into a release.
So when I see something like that Eureka puts out, or like that Joseph Quo set, I was like, I don't give a fuck how much. Like, I think that thing is actually a little underpriced. They could have charged that an extra $20, $100. And I would have been completely fine with that price, because there's a lot of shit that goes into that.
Okay, I got this pulled up. Check this out. So for those of you that don't know, Fred Olen Ray is a director from the 90s, and that's when he was big in independent horror. He was going to be involved in a release of the film called Cyclone from 1987, and he was asked, as you can see in the photo, he was asked his exact quote here. This was posted publicly, so that's why I don't have a problem sharing this. I was asked if I could do a commentary track for the Cyclone Blu-ray release for free by Code Red, and then I was asked if I could produce the recorded track for free and deliver it to them, which means they were not going to send anybody with professional equipment. He was going to have to do it at home if he wanted it professionally done in a studio setting for himself while watching the movie and recording it and delivering it in a way that sounds polished already, because they weren't going to do anything to it, and deliver it to them. He said he'd try. Then he did it, and it came out corrupted. So waited and redid it and sent it to them. And then without notifying them, they canceled the release entirely. For free. For somebody that directed movies. You're getting an actual director involved and not offering to pay him even $100.
Fuck Code Red. All my homies hate Code Red. I don't think I own any Code Red.
I ranted about this on a Thursday stream a couple weeks ago, and it still gets under my skin.
Even Mountain Dew Code Red sucks. No, so like can you pull up John comments or John Peters' comment? Vinegar Syndrome does a lot of that stuff in house, right?
A lot of it, but like as he's saying, this is a VSA release, and it is a hard case that is all one piece. They have to have this made for them. They're not producing this in house, but then inside they are also releasing a poster with every single one of these releases. They do a lot of their extras on their own, but some of them they do pay people. If you follow their Facebook page, they will ask, "Hey, is anybody with professional videography equipment available in the Salem, Massachusetts area? We have an extra that we need filmed." And they will literally pay somebody to take their equipment and go to the house and help them retrieve extras.
So I want to know if it's just because of what Vinegar Syndrome focuses on, because they release, let's say, questionable things like ticks in 4K. Right there. See,
and look, hard box with a nice cardboard slip, and it's in 4K, which means that costs more than that Blu-ray disc already.
So I'm willing to bet that the licenses for these type of movies that they're licensing are much lower than, let's say, what Arrow's licensing or what Criterion's even licensing, which allows them more wiggle room to go all out on the cases. And then they do the mastering in-house on the actual film. So that probably allows them to go all out and go crazy with 4K on ticks, 4K on Scanner Cop 1 and 2. Like, I mean, how much do you really think that box set of TV horror movies really costed them to license? Because that's the largest cost, is the license.
You are correct in what you're getting at, but I think the side that is not being focused on enough is that OCN Labs, which is the actual restoration company that has employees of Vinegar Syndrome that does the restoration work, when they're negotiating these licenses, they're saying, can we give you a fee for the rights to what is something else that came out this week? The Laughing Dead from that's an Asian film as well, I believe, right?
The Laughing Dead?
Yeah, this just got released, and I believe this is from, let's see, where is this from? I think it's from Malaysia or something like that. John probably knows. Supposed to be incredible. Not really an amazing film, but the bigger thing is the achievement of what they were able to get on film with practical effects and everything like that. A lot of it was filmed in Mexico, which for an Asian film is pretty rare for back in that day. But the big thing with that, they probably, licenses can cost, and some people don't understand this, licenses can cost like $60,000 to have a package handed to you for a small movie. We're not talking for a big movie, for a small movie. But for something like this, Vinegar Syndrome might have said, there you go. John says it's from a Thai director. I'm exhausted. Thank you. For a film like this, I believe that they are able to get some of these for like, we'll give you 10 grand to allow us to work on this film, and we'll restore it for you. Because then it's their own labor going into it, and they don't have to invest as much fiscally into it. So
also they probably go, we want, give us this movie for this amount, and we'll give you this amount for whatever else you want to throw at us. And we'll do the restoration work.
And that's the other thing. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these are bought in packages.
Yeah.
So
same with
maybe
anime.
Maybe they really wanted to release The Laughing Dead, and three of the releases that Vinegar Syndrome put out in the last year that people shit on are from that package, and it was only leading up for this one title.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, that's the same way from what I understand with anime, is that a lot of times like a studio, like let's say TMS or something, they'll say, yeah, if you want to license, let's say Lupin, you have to you also have to license this and this and this and this
right
for this amount, and you work out a deal, and eventually you can put it out. Because there are times where I'll look at let's say Arrow or Criterion, and I'm like, the fuck is that release doing? That makes almost zero sense, and it's probably because it's bundled as a package. Which one of my goals is to start a Blu-ray label, and some of these films, I've emailed, I'm not going to say what company or what movie, but I've emailed a company for a movie that has four people logged on Letterboxd. It's an obscure Yakuza flick. It's old as fuck. And they wanted an astronomical amount of money for a movie that nobody knows of. So, but also Japanese companies are notoriously hard to work with.
Yep.
And I think, yeah.
Speaking of hard to work with, what would the licensing be for Blood for Dracula and Fresh for Frankenstein? This is one this is such a high cost to license both of these films that I there's no way that this was not a massive undertaking for both of these two companies. The Digipack alone for Blood for Dracula, because that's the only one that's been released so far, is so high quality that it's clear that when it was negotiated, they specifically stated what had to be in the release, how high quality it had to be, and that they were going to be able to make money back for everybody involved. I would not be surprised if just getting the rights to this film for each of them was probably around 80 to 100 grand. And even that's probably lowballing it a little bit. And notoriously, I mean, the last release for Flesh for Frankenstein, I think, was the Criterion DVD, the last legal release. And these things, they've gotten knocked off so many times. I mean, even this year, Flesh for Frankenstein was announced. by a German company, and that's why Vinegar Syndrome had to say, no, we got this coming. We are the only ones legally allowed to release this in the world. You are not putting that movie out, and now they're not. Jeff is asking, do studios prefer licensing to outside companies because they don't care about physical releases? I don't think it's that they don't care about physical releases. I think it's because studios are all about money. And nowadays, physical releases don't get the money that they did 15 years ago. I still have the Blu-ray Deluxe Edition limited collector's box of Wizard of Oz that has like 5 little trinkets on the inside that I just got at Walmart like a year and a half ago for like $30. On the back side, it is numbered with a sticker that's like 64,912 of 100,000. And that was very limited back in the day. That was a very limited release.
What, Hiruko the Goblin's not getting a 70,000 print?
And the crazy thing is, think about some of these old Anchor Bay horror DVDs were literally numbered up to like 50,000, and it was called a limited edition release and would sell out like some of these Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow releases.
Back in the golden day, you can go to Best Buy, and every week there'd be like a plethora of new releases that.
Right.
And also Dimensions Extreme. Love that label, dude. Dragon Dynasty, like that shit was so fucking cool. Like I remember seeing the cover of Inside and being like, what the fuck is that?
Tartasia Extreme, baby.
And now you can't do that anymore. Like
and now you can get Tartan Asian Extreme DVDs at Big Lots. That's how much physical media, literally, in the last 3 months, people are finding Tartan Asian Extreme DVDs at Big Lots.
Nice.
For like $2 a piece.
Oh, I went to my Dollar General, and they had a like the DVD section, and it said Family Fun, and it was Halloween and Joker on it, and I was like, I took a picture. I was like, that's not family friendly anymore. No, but also like there's just some directors that are just complete assholes to work with when it comes to licensing stuff. But stuff like New York Ninja, man, I want to know how much went into that release. Like just price wise, you have 2 separate artworks, and I know how much Kung Fu Bob charges. I'm not going to say because I'm getting a thing licensed, or I'm getting.
And just think yours is at a discount. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he charges companies more. But man, you got 2 separate artworks. You got a new 4K scan. You had to
voice cast,
commentaries, a book. There's a fucking book included with it. Like. All this shit. You had to like recut the trailer, the VHS sizzle. Like, I'm so excited for that release.
But then there's other shit that's not even involved there. So New York Ninja is a hilarious afterthought compared to everything else we're talking about, because the marketing budget for New York Ninja over the last 3 months has been insanity.
Yeah.
The fact that they are headlining Beyond Fest in Los Angeles, California, and selling it out is massive for Vinegar Syndrome. The fact that they are releasing this in a way that is going to go to the masses, again, most people get free shipping to the consumer. Vinegar Syndrome still has to pay to ship it. That's another thing that gets eaten up in all these costs as well. So when you're buying that and it costs you $25 like it did for me because I'm a subscriber, I'm actually saving money probably for what it's really worth.
New York Ninja's cover reminds me of a game called Excalibur 2097 from the Super Nintendo era. It has that same feel. And I read a review for I read a review for New York Ninja that in today's standards it's cheesy. It's what you would call a bad movie, but if that movie came out when it was supposed to, it would have been one of the ultimate cult classics of all time. And I am so fucking excited for that. It's got the director was in Invincible Armor. The main star and director was in one of my favorite kung fu movies of all time. So
yeah, I still watch American Ninja 1 and 2 every year. So I mean,
I actually texted Ryan.
Flip and I were just talking about it,
and I was like, dude, because I can only find American Ninja 1, 3, and 4. That game right there, I love that game, dude. Such a 90s vibe. Look at that. But they didn't reprint. I don't think 88 reprinted the singles for American Ninja 2.
No, I think it was only a box set. And then the first one.
There's a box set, and I can't even find it anywhere. And I'm so pissed because I actually like those movies. I don't like enough to pay like 200.
I can show it to you if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
You can come here like you were talking, and then you can
Hey,
watch.
we are. Yes. Ice just texted me and said the 88s tweeted just licensed most of a director's filmography. # box sets incoming next year. Whoa.
There are so many possibilities for that, and it's impossible to speculate because of the wide range of what they've released.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they seem to have like, I don't know, they like nestled into like Hong Kong and horror movies, and then randomly they'll throw a curveball in there.
But the big thing here, you have Shaw Brothers, Jackie Chan, Jean-Claude Van Damme,
I love them.
slasher classics, and then their Italian line.
Yeah.
Those are all massive.
Maybe they bought all of Takashi Miike's filmography and they're making a box set.
That would be. Could you imagine the price?
This just in, 88 Films is bankrupt.
They're a company that went from being like a few releases a year to like this year just fucking how many Jackie Chan movies alone did they put out this year?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for Chinese Boxer, Flag of Iron, Legendary Weapons of China.
It's still Armor of God. That's still
Oh
coming.
yeah, Armor of God's coming. The Rikki-O release was amazing. That movie is awesome. Robotrix. But man, them and Eureka just this year, I think, are my two favorite labels.
Now, since they released Robotrix, maybe they got, I don't know, I'm trying to think of maybe a Cat 3 director or something that maybe they got a bunch of titles from, but I don't think it's that. It'll be something else.
Did you watch that yet, Ryan?
No. I got this in at the beginning of October, which led into my watch along.
Can't wait for Chinese Boxer next week. Apparently, it's already out. Cinema Classics has it available, which I need to send him, by the way. I need to send him right now.
They get everything early, though.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Which obviously that does mean that 88 Films is using MVD in the US.
Yep.
Which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all.
I did get from Cinema Classics this week. I got the two new Charles Bronsons from Kino.
Nice.
Heartbreak Pass and Chapo's Land, I think. Which Charles Bronson's one of the ugliest people I think that ever existed in the history of.
He's also one of the coolest, though.
Yeah. Did you hear? Sergio Leone wanted him in. I think it was The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and he said no. The script sucks. And Sergio Leone was like, "What?" And then he gave him the script to. Isn't it Once Upon a Time in
America?
In the West? Isn't he in
the
Once Upon a Time in the West?
Yeah.
And that has like almost zero fucking words throughout the entire movie. So.
Well, then you can't fuck up your lines, can you?
That's true. Black Cat is up for pre-order as well from 88.
Yes, it is.
I like the sequel better. The Assassination of Boris Yeltsin.
Wait, is that really the sequel to Black Cat?
Yeah, Black Cat 2, The Assassination of Boris Yeltsin, I think.
Huh.
That's the official name. I like it even more than the first one. Hopefully they release it.
What was our topic tonight? Because we've been going for an hour.
The movies that made us. We're going to talk about 5 movies that had an impact on us.
All right.
Does that mean I should start it off?
Start it off, dude.
Well, then I'm going to be very serious about it on something that is going to seem not very serious. I do have all of mine on physical next to me, of course, and I'm going to have to show them. Very, very don't make fun of this, which I don't know why you would, because this is genuinely a great movie. First one I was going to share is the first one I saw in theaters that made a big impact on me, obviously, because it's drawn me back to the cinema forever. I saw Beauty and the Beast. That was my first cinematic experience.
What release is that?
This is beautiful steelbook. Nice 4K Best Buy steelbook. And see, look at all that embossing on there. I am terrible at this.
That rose part
There you go.
is
Yeah.
amazing looking.
I saw Beauty and the Beast with my my dad and my grandma and a couple cousins, I think. Or I'm making that part up in my mind because I don't think they were old enough yet. But saw Beauty and the Beast, and I was young. Like can't remember what year that came out, but I had to have only been 4, maybe
Early
4.5.
90s, probably, right?
Yeah, I think it was 91 or 92.
Yeah.
And so I was either 4 or 5, and I still remember the walk to the car afterwards because of how just shook I felt from seeing something on such an incredibly big screen that was clear, that wasn't all VHS muddy at home. And yeah, it was just such an experience for me that made me know that I wanted to feel this often.
If you want me to show off the DVDs, I could grab them real quick. It'll only take me 30 seconds.
Wait, you have multiple copies of Beauty and the
I
Beast?
think he's talking about his 5,
My
okay.
5 selections.
Okay.
not Beauty and the Beast.
Mine are pretty obvious, so I'll just talk about them.
Okay, Lone Wolf and Cup 1 to 5. Okay, Eric, you want to grab your 5?
Yeah.
While Eric's gone, I guess I'll talk about my first one. Terminator 2
Nice pick.
is so again with my dad's heart attack. I was little. My uncle also played Terminator 2, and then after that, I used to walk behind the grocery store, like I've said, and I'd rent Terminator 2 almost on a daily basis. And my uncle, every time there was a new special edition of Terminator 2, he would buy it for me. So I have multiple copies of that movie. I have the one with the arm. I got the ultimate, the silver box set on DVD. It's just a movie that blew me away when I first saw it, and it still blows me away. I still don't know how they were able to. In '91, the special effects in that movie are incredible.
And they definitely hold up pretty well.
Really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't talk about it enough. I haven't seen it in a while, but it is a movie that it means a lot to me. Just because, it's a special place in my heart because of the circumstances around the first time I saw it. But it is a great movie on its own.
It's a nice pick. And it, gosh, that had to, let's see, you were probably born right around when that came out.
I was born, I think, like less than a year after it came out.
Yeah. It's a weird thing for me to know offhand, but yeah.
How old's that movie now? 30. It's 31 years, right? 2 months. So.
God, what year did that come out? I think it was
91. I think it was 91.
I was thinking 92, something like that.
It might be 92.
Eric, you want to share your first while I look up what year Terminator 2 came out?
Sure.
But that was
I
my
think
first
T2 came out in 91.
I think it was 91.
There we go.
My first pick, I could have picked any one of a few films, but I think I had to choose this one. Return to Oz.
It's a solid pick.
People grew up on Wizard of Oz, but I grew up on this. So this is obviously a much darker film.
Just slightly.
It apparently it's inspired by the Marvelous Land of Oz and Ozma of Oz, which are 2 books that I have not read, but I really want to read. So they're on my reading list. This movie's freaking creepy. If anybody hasn't seen it, you got Fairuza Balk in the lead role, and you have some pretty. It's almost like I watched this before I even watched the original. Like I barely watched the original film at all when I was growing up. So I would watch this and I'd be like, what's up with the Scarecrow guy? Because he just kind of shows up as like a cameo. But yeah, I think it really influenced me because it's like a horror film, and it kind of it whet my palate for like the macabre with the wheelers, who are the guys that are rolling around the wheels, and they're like, you have the lady who basically has like cabinets full of decapitated heads. Like it's just, the movie's just freaking.
It's a Disney movie?
I think so.
Holy shit.
So.
Yeah, it's
Damn.
awesome. If anybody hasn't seen, it's fantastic. But yeah, that's how it really influenced me, is that it got me into horror without me even really realizing it. And my big 3 films, fantasy films when I was a kid, were this, The Neverending Story, and Legend. And all 3 of those were real big for me, but I chose one of them, and it was this one, just because it has like the most horrific kind of aspect to it. So yeah, that was a big one.
I agree with that one. It's a good pick. My next one, I think, was going to be my first adult movie that I remember watching, and not adult as in adult, but adult as in jokes that I couldn't understand when I was 6 years old. And with it being my first comedy with things that I actually found funny, and I still connect to this movie so much. I haven't even opened the steelbook yet. Don't know why, but I adored Ferris Bueller's Day Off growing up. This is just one of my favorite movies of all time. Everything about this hits. Yes, Matthew Broderick did hit and kill somebody with his car in Europe or whatever, but
with
hey,
Jennifer Grey in the car too.
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, it's not solid enough to cause this to be trash. And speaking of Beetlejuice, Rooney from this is in Beetlejuice. And yeah, this is such a great, fun movie. There's so many random things that they probably would not pull off nowadays. And just some of the most iconic scenes of all time.
My next pick is Gladiator. Growing up, very rarely did my dad and I have any time to go see a movie because we were always working. And one day, I guess we must have been slow at the restaurant. My dad took me to go see Gladiator in theaters. It's one of like 6 movies I've seen in theaters with my dad, just me and him. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But just that movie hits such an emotional chord with me. There's a song, the soundtrack, by the way, played in my uncle's restaurant for like 20 years. I'm not even kidding. Like, you would go eat and there'd be a fucking Gladiator. I'm like, change it. So he changed it to Mob Hits is now on rotation. But anyways, Gladiator, that soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. There's a certain song that if I hear, I will instantly start crying. And it's the song where it's towards the end of the movie. Spoilers for a movie from the year 2000. He's dying and his wife and kid are dead and he sees them and he's they're greeting him to what you interpret to as heaven. And it's just a beautiful film. Great action. Russell Crowe, I think it's his best role. I think Russell Crowe's best role ever. And it's one of the movies where I think the sequel should have been made. Did you know that they were going to do a sequel where Maximus is a time traveler? Like, it was going to be like him in World War II. And Eric's face. But
is that what Ridley Scott's doing now?
No.
They're doing a sequel to it. That's what he said.
That might actually be it. Yeah. Hey, he seems to be on a roll. The final duel in House of Gucci looked great.
Mm-hmm.
But Eric just goes, yeah, Gladiator's great. It's just I think it's Joaquin Phoenix's best role. He's so good in that movie that I fucking hated him in like anything after that for a while. Like when Signs came out, I was like, fuck that guy. I hate him.
So good in Signs.
He's so good, but now I like him. But man, I hated him so much with a passion.
That is an actor, other than when he, went off the complete end of the loony bin there for a couple of years.
Oh, right?
Huh? Yeah, because the role and everything.
No. You know why? He's
which why are you alluding to?
Because he was in the Children of God cult with what's his name? That guy that took that group to South Africa and they all killed themselves with the Kool-Aid.
Jones or whatever.
Jones. Jim Jones. He grew up in that fucking cult.
That's not what I was alluding to. There was a couple other things that he threw himself at, and anyways, that's somebody that, like, even the worst of his performances are still so many notches above most. It is crazy.
He's awesome and he's hot. So Russell Crowe in that movie, just daddy vibes. No, but this is gonna sound really stupid, but when I played football, this is so stupid and cringy now. I used to grab a handful of grass and like kind of feel it in my hands like he does with the sand before in the dirt before each battle.
Hey, whatever works, man.
And I mean, Maximus Decimus Aurelius is the most badass name.
And then before every single game, your coach went.
I actually almost picked Remember the Titans because my dad also took me to that, and then we would quote that movie in football practice.
That's a great movie.
It's a fucking fantastic movie.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric? What's your number 2?
A movie that I was completely obsessed with for like half a decade.
Yeah.
The Matrix. The Matrix. I was obsessed with this movie.
Love that. Movie.
When I saw it, when I saw like the trailer on TV, I almost had kind of an idea of what it was going to be about a little bit just off the trailer.
What was the trailer like back then?
Huh?
What was the trailer back then?
It was a teaser on TV. It basically showed. I remember this part where it showed Trinity swinging off the helicopter, and the building kind of like warping behind her and exploding. Yeah. But when I saw the preview, I thought she was swinging on like a rope that was just suspended from nothing. That was my interpretation of it. So like, oh, it's going to be like a Matrix thing where they're like in a virtual reality world. So I just assumed that it would be that. But yeah, that one, I was really surprised leaving the theater because it's one of those films that has that. It's kind of how would I say, a high degree of difficulty executing a film with that much freaking philosophical exposition, and it still comes out awesome. Like, just had the perfect blend of like commercial, like badass action and like kind of high concept science fiction stuff. So when I left that theater, I was like, man, what's real, man? You know, I'm like reading like philosophy books, like Kierkegaard. I was like sitting there reading Soren Kierkegaard books for like 3 or 4 years. It was crazy. So yeah, that one had a huge influence. That was
that's one of those movies that has like T2, like Back to the Future, like even though it's a shitty movie, kind of like Avatar, it has that cultural impact swing of from one. It's like there's pre-Matrix movies and post-Matrix movies, and that's true for pretty much any genre. You can pinpoint like 10 or 12 releases that before those movies things were just different, and then afterwards there was something that changed, and it's very true of the Matrix.
I remember watching the Matrix for the first time on DVD. It was like the big DVD pusher. It was my uncle again. Shout out to my uncle Tony. He was a video and audiophile, and he had a sound system and he had a fucking nice TV, and he showed me the Matrix, and I remember just being like, because I was little. I was born in '92. That DVD came out 2001, maybe 2000. So I was really young, and that movie left such a lasting impression on me. That would have been one of my picks, but you picked it, so I'm gonna pick something different. But that is on there, and I do like the sequels. I do like them.
I like the second half of Reloaded. I think is awesome. It's just having to sit through the first half that one that hurts, and then the third one I thought was good, but like the ending a little dodgy on the third one. So I got to rewatch them. I haven't seen them in years.
I'm excited for the fourth.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, I still think it's a ballsy move that the trailer opens and the first thing you see is Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Why? You don't like Doogie Howser?
It is weird to associate Doogie Howser with Trinity and Neo. Eric, did you happen to see this question from your last pick?
No, I haven't seen that. Is that a joke?
No, Puff and Stuff it's from the TV show HR Puff and Stuff, and there's actually a movie, and I believe Scorpion Releasing either just put it out or is about to put out their full film release of Puff and Stuff. What's going on, nerd? Were you asking a question there, Flip?
I forgot.
Awesome. My number 3 pick is the first one that got me into genre films. Then I did watch when I was 4 years old. I had a babysitter show me Child's Play, and it barely affected me. And then my mom is not or now she's a good person, but at the time was not great or super smart or sober. And when I was 6, she put on Carrie. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I am going to have to share that the first one that really got me hooked when I was 8 years old, my stepmom and my dad showed me Halloween. And I know we already talked about it tonight, but genuinely this film is one that it just hit. And there's so many scenes in that movie that are, if they're the first thing you see that is terrifying, those scenes will stick to your bones for a long time. One story I don't think I shared a couple weeks ago when we talked about this is after the movie, my dad offered me $5 to go run back and touch the gate in our backyard and then come back up to the house. And we lived in a not great area, and we had a weird setup. We had the house and then a little path and then a like 1-car garage and then another little path with a semi little dirt lot as a backyard. And so it wasn't going to be a straight shot. And I thought about it for a second, and we lived off an alley, and it just, no, $5 isn't worth dying tonight. I loved Halloween, and I still do. And yes, the franchise has some very low points, and it's certainly not one of the top 4. It is one of the top 4, but it's not the top of the big horror slashers. But the first Halloween, I think, has the most monumental impact of all of those.
I have a funny story with the Halloween movie. My mom really likes that movie. And one day someone was having a garage sale a couple houses down, and I bought a keyboard, and I taught myself the Halloween theme on the keyboard for the sole purpose to scare the ever-living fuck out of my mom. So one night, and the thing and the keyboard you could like set a loop, so you could like record something and then time it to have it start playing like 10 seconds later. And my mom's a huge pussy. She's a huge scaredy cat. So, so I crept into the house on their side. I set the keyboard on the ground and I waited 10 seconds and I crawled past their bed to my mom's side of the bed. And you just hear, the fucking theme song started playing, and I popped up out of the other side of the bed and was like, "Wah!" My mom pissed herself. She was so scared. Woke my dad up. My dad then was like, "Go to fucking bed, idiot." She's like, "What are you doing?" And now we laugh about it. Now we just have a good time laughing about it because it is. But I love that movie. That's Halloween 1. It's no Rob Zombie, but it's good.
Oh, flip. You're up, number 3.
Oh, number 3. Kill Bill. I remember, I had known what martial arts movies were, obviously, and kung fu movies because of the employees at the restaurant. And again, my uncle Tony, he's had a huge influence, a huge impact on my life. I was at my nonna's house, which is grandmother, and I'm over there sitting around, and my mom goes, "You can't watch Kill Bill," because my uncle Tony had a copy, and she knew I wanted to see it. "You can't watch Kill Bill; you're too young." And I was like, I'm like, I don't know how old am I in 2004, but so my uncle's there, and he's like, "Hey, if you want to watch Kill Bill, it's underneath the TV," just being a cool uncle.
Yeah.
So I watched it and was so blown away, just fucking it blew my mind. I had not seen anything like this in my entire life. I thought the movie was amazing, and I watched it probably 4 times that night because I was there. I was just spending the night. I watched it literally just back to back to back to back to back. Didn't know about the sequel until like a year or so later, and then when I eventually saw that, I was like blown away again. But that movie, I think that movie didn't have the same cultural impact on movies going forward as, let's say, The Matrix or any of those films that you talked about before. But I think that movie had a cultural impact to get people into older films and different genres of film. Like, without that movie, I think that movie sparked a whole new generation of martial arts film fans. The references to all the Westerns that he did, all the samurai movies, all the Kung Fu movies. I think that opened up people to a lot.
Undoubtedly.
And it's just, I think it's one of the best. I think it's one of the. I think it's Quentin Tarantino's best movie, tied with Inglourious Bastards for me. But if I had to pick a Tarantino film, and it would have been that or Inglourious Bastards, and Inglourious Bastards means a lot to me, because my parents and I, again, we growing up, once I became an adult, I was out doing my own thing on my days off. My parents were out doing their own thing, and for whatever reason, one night we got dinner together. It was just 3 of us. We usually had my grandmother with us, or my uncles, or like whoever else was with us. And one night it was just the 3 of us, and my mom goes, "We should go see a movie." And I was like, "Let's go see Inglourious Bastards." And I sold it to them. I'm like, "It's the guy who did Pulp Fiction." And my parents are like, "Oh, love Pulp Fiction." I think every boomer loves Pulp Fiction. So we saw that in theaters, and no one big was there. In the whole theater, it was a packed theater. Everyone stood up and gave a standing ovation to just the fucking screen. And it's my mom's. It's one of her favorite films now. So shout out to Quentin.
He needs all the love he can get. Yeah,
He is. He's one of the good wops.
So Eric,
What?
follow that up.
This one's probably the biggest one for me personally. It's Pulse.
Nice.
Oh.
Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
It's a good pick.
So this one, I'd seen some Japanese horrors before this one, but
I believe this is a friend of mine,
Can
but
you-
it's a very serious question. Would you guys rather eat 10 of your own boogers or one of someone else's?
my own.
my own. I'll fucking do it.
It's
right
an
now.
obvious. Please
I'll do-
don't.
I'll do it right now. Look, see, booger.
How do I remove you?
10 of mine, dude. I'm not eating no one's fucking booger.
I'd rather eat 10 of Flips.
I didn't
What?
even have.
Look at these nostrils. Okay, look at these. These things are huge. They produce fucking
spitwad sized boogers.
I mean, the answer for that always lies in Austin Powers Gold Member. Everybody loves their own brand. Doesn't matter if it's a fart or anything else, but it makes the most sense.
Have you guys ever thrown up from your own farts?
No.
No. But speaking of that, I think we were talking about Eric's number 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
Your
Pulse.
friends are weird.
Yeah. I saw a few Japanese horrors before that, but when I saw that one, I remember sitting there on like a chair and I moved it all the way up to the TV screen. And a movie like this, it was like the ultimate gateway film for me because it's essentially an art house film. And it moves as slow as molasses in freaking January. You know what I mean? And I was just completely absorbed by it from start to finish. And that never really happened to me before I saw this, especially like a foreign language film like this. So after this, I felt like I could watch anything. So, I would start watching a lot of Japanese classics, Tarkovsky films, all of which are masterpieces, all kinds of stuff. So that's why this one is the big one. And it has, again, a lot like The Matrix. It's got like philosophical content to it, because this director likes to have a main theme of the film, in this case, loneliness and the afterlife. Then he kind of creates like visual references to that throughout the film. And actually, this was really prophetic. If you take a look at 2021, the advent of social media and the pronounced increase in anxiety drugs and antidepressants, and it's pretty obvious there's a lot of loneliness out there, despite the increased connectivity on the internet. So that really, looking back on it, was pretty profound. So yeah, that one's a big one.
Wait, Criterion's releasing Cure?
I think so.
I believe that is coming out. Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. I didn't know that. Fuck. But that is a good movie. I remember trying to watch that just because I thought it was going to be a fun horror movie. I had seen Ring, I had seen The Grudge, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a fun horror movie. And like you said, it's kind of a slow burn. And I was like, damn, this is fucking really good.
Yeah.
What's
Pulse
your
is a hard one to
Ryan?
follow up. Pulse is a hard one to listen and then go, oh, I'm going to talk about this super funny, happy movie. Earlier tonight, Eric mentioned a romantic comedy, and I, at heart, am a ridiculous romantic. My wife has many stories that she can share, and a lot of people don't know this because I don't think I've gone too in depth on it on this or my channel yet or anything. I first dated my wife in 2002. And we dated for almost that entire year and then separated for a while. We both married other people and then came back together almost a decade later and got married in 2013. And it's been a hell of a journey. And one of the things that hit me most is how watching movies with certain people can affect you. So to give the romantic response to this, in May of 2002, a cinematic masterpiece was released, and I watched this with my now wife in the drive-in theater, and she fell asleep on my arm with her mom in the driver's seat of the minivan, and that is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Honestly, still probably the best Spider-Man film, and that's because it nails the tone. A lot of them, like the MCU ones, are going too light, I would say. They get some of the lore better, but the tone in this one is so well done. The 4Ks of these look ridiculously great. Really shows everything about Raimi, and let me mute this person.
Christ. I thought this was your friend.
I did too. Not anymore.
I thought this was your friend. Oh man, that's a.
Yeah.
And now I don't know how to mute that. So I'll deal with that in a minute. Yeah.
Wait, no one else can see that, by the way. Only the Twitch people can.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so we're good.
So we're good. But guys, anyways, there's a dude in here that is just saying some shit.
Gotta love it,
Ryan.
No, not at all.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
We literally lived in different states.
Man, what a fucking inappropriate thing to say.
Yeah. Especially after a diatribe like that. Thanks. Anyways,
sorry, that's just
that was my number 4.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That is just I was listening to you talk about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and I just happened to look over and I read it, and then I looked back at you, and then I was like, wait, what? What fucking emoji is that?
Don't give him any more attention.
My JoJo is beautiful. Is he talking about JoJo, the singer that's right now, a little too late, or is he talking about JoJo? Anyways, my number 4 is Seven Samurai. Obviously, my favorite movie of all time. I have it tattooed on my body. I love that movie, and it's a movie that Flip laughed so hard he got short.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jeff K. Oh my god. That's the best insult about my height I've heard ever. That's good, dude.
Which there has to have been a lot of them, so that's a pretty good achievement.
Oh my god, dude, there's a lot. Dude, my dad, you know what my dad says to me every time? Because everything's on top of the refrigerator. Like if I need something in the back, like a tub or something, I'll go, hey dad, can you get that? And he goes, what's wrong, you fucking midget? You can't just get your step ladder out and go get it. I'm like, no, I can't. But Seven Samurai, man, it's talk about a movie that is long, that is heavy on the philosophical stuff, and it doesn't feel at all like it's a 3.5 hour movie. Like if I were to say to you, hey, do you want to watch a movie that's in black and white from 1954 in Japanese? It's 3.5 hours long, and it's very philosophical. You'd be like, go fuck yourself. That sounds awful. But somehow all of that turns into one of the best movie experiences I've ever had, ever. I'm hoping and praying. Oh no, there's a bubble in my throat. I'm hoping and praying that Criterion does a 4K of that. I think that movie, I think black and white movies, Ryan and I have talked about this before on here. Some black and white movies in 4K look amazing. And I would love to see that.
As long as the restoration is done good, they will always look the best.
And Mifune just fucking, he goes into a scene and he just fucking starts eating it. He's just like, he's so good in that movie. Reese is 30 and 4'10". Yeah, fuck you, Reese. I'm taller than you by not much, but I'm taller than you. So yeah, I love Seven Samurai, obviously. I'm actually working on a video about all the spin-offs that Seven Samurai happened to spawn. Because there's the obvious ones like Magnificent Seven, but there's a lot of Hong Kong movies, that took that, and took it. The most notable one I would say is probably Beach of the War Gods, directed by Jimmy Wang Yu. The first half is literally Seven Samurai, and then once the Japanese army invades, it turns into an anti-Japanese movie.
Of course.
One of the best fight. Have you seen that, Eric?
Yeah.
One of the best action movies ever. I'm not just saying that, it's insane. But yeah, that's a Seven Samurai ripoff. But yeah, Seven Samurai, that's my pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna come right at you with this one. My fourth selection. Old Boy.
Yeah.
Old Boy, this was not the first Korean film I saw. This the second one. First one I saw was a movie called Shiri from 1999, which is kind of like a blockbuster film that has some pretty impressive like romance mixed in. But the thing with Old Boy that really changed my perspective on movies a little bit is its use of sex. Because before this film, I was typically subjected to like either like erotic thrillers or like slasher films, you know. But in this one, it plays a pretty important part of the story. So yeah, that really kind of changed my perspective. I'm like, wow, like this is really kind of an interesting way of using that type of thing. And some of his other movies does the same thing. I became far more receptive to basically perceiving sexual content as adding something to the actual film instead of just being some type of gratuitous thing, just thrown in. So that was actually one of the big things that came out of that one for me. And yeah, so that's why I'm actually picking that one.
It's a good pick. And it's certainly true. And for a lot of, I mean, God, we talked about religious trauma a few times on the show before and how that gives a stigma to things that it absolutely doesn't need to be and can literally ruin things for certain people. That is one that that'll awaken you if that's your first time seeing something like that. Just the amount of power that can come from that, for sure.
I almost made a little bit of a tasteless joke when you were like, it changed my views on sex. And I was gonna be like, "What? You think you can fuck your sister now?" Like you were gonna be like, "Mind blown! I can do that."
Well, I don't have a sister, so.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Well, my sister's dead, so it would be incest and necrophilia on top of it.
That's a weird movie. My last one is what I remember being the first movie. Well, let me preface first. So all the other ones were important moments for me that just showed the way that I could watch cinema. And the only other thing that I could see back that was something that I had not alluded to yet was when I first got that moment of awe watching a film. And I know that Spielberg is Flip's favorite, so I wanted to include one from him. But because I was at such a formidable age, genuinely watching Jurassic Park for the first time was a life changer. And the big part with this is it made me go out and immediately read the book and fall in love with reading good fiction. And Michael Crichton's series of Jurassic Park is so much better than the movies, but still completely different story. Absolutely amazing movie. Still holds up and showed my 5 and 6 year old about a month and a half ago Jurassic Park, and just in awe again. Not only them, but me just watching it and seeing the scope of everything they could accomplish when this came out. It's crazy to just see, what 4 years before that, what we were doing for special effects. And then this comes out and it's just game changing. This is another one of those like pre-Jurassic Park and post-Jurassic Park era-defining films. And I absolutely grateful that I was able to see this young.
Ryan, I have something I just forgot that when you're talking about Spider-Man, I have this and I'll gift it to you if you want it. It is a limited edition film print of a single frame from the original Spider-Man movie.
Oh,
nice.
Do you want this?
Of course.
All right.
I'll take anything.
I'll send it to you. It's an actual film, little 35 millimeter frame. So,
beautiful.
My number one may come as a shock because I have it's a meme at this point. But I actually really love this movie.
Thanks for hanging out for the stream tonight, guys. We'll see you next time.
But Stalker is an incredible piece. Why are you laughing? I love Stalker. Dude. It's just a meme at this point. But I love Stalker. I think Tarkovsky is amazing. No, I'm kidding. It's Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Carter Rivers.
Yeah, we already knew that.
Yeah, that's why my name is Ogami Ito today. That movie actually so here's what I like about Japanese films especially when they do like a lot of them, not all of them, but I would say the majority of like, let's say exploitation films, because that is, I would say Baby Card the River Styx and the whole series is very exploitative. They still include serious topics in their films. So like on surface level, it's an incredible action movie with lots of blood, cool fights. But on a deeper level, there's like moments of just like peaceful serenity in that movie where like they're just walking and it's just like long shots of that movie is just in silence. And Ogami Ito, feel like Flip likes it more than the manga. I love, so the manga is a masterpiece, but the manga is a book and books are for nerds. So the movie is just no, but the movies do something. And I'm a huge Lone Wolf and Cub fan. I've seen all of them. I've read the manga. I've read the sequel manga. There's a adaptation. There's like a new manga that's done, not done by anyone that's Japanese, but oh Jesus, Ryan coughed so hard he got taller.
Sorry.
Ryan coughed so hard he got taller. Now he can touch the roof. Look at that shit. He can actually touch the.
My wife's gonna be pissed because I'm like banging on the living room underneath it. She's up there doing something, and the best thing, she's probably asleep and going, "What the fuck?"
Oh, that's just my gigantic husband. How tall is your wife? Because she looks tall too.
She is almost 5'8".
She's taller than me. God damn it, dude. Everyone. But yeah.
Well, my first wife was 6'1". Both of my sisters are over 6'1". I think my tallest sister is 6'3.5", something like that. She got a full ride scholarship to play volleyball. That's how tall she is.
That's cool. But I love the Lone Wolf and Cub series. Nothing new. I would recommend you guys pick it up. The 50% off sale is happening.
Perfect time.
Perfect time to pick it up. It is one of their best releases. You get technically 7 movies. You get the 6, and then you get Shogun's Assassin, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Well, this isn't my 5. We're not in order because this is by far the cheesiest one of the whole bunch.
I love it.
People will laugh at me, but
Nobody's gonna laugh.
It was it was pretty influential to me. We got So Close, which is a Hong Kong Girls with Guns film from 2002, directed by Corey Yun. We got the ladies here. We have Zhao Wei, Shu Qi, and Karen Malk.
I'm not laughing at your choice. I'm just laughing how out of left field that choice was.
Yes, So Close. So when I saw this at Blockbuster Video, I started laughing. I was, this is going to be terrible. It is Charlie's Angels rip-off crap. And I threw it in, and it started off pretty cheesy. And but it was fun. It had like a breeziness to it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty. It's kind of a cute little assassin movie. And then like in the second half, they decide to get serious, and it actually works. And it ends with like this like 2-on-1 fight with 2 of these girls and Yasuaki Kurata. It was like a big time Japanese actor from back in the day. And I was like, man, this movie was actually really entertaining. So after this, this is why it's such a huge influence for me. I'm like, does Hong Kong make other action movies with women in it? Because this was really entertaining. So that's where I went back to the 80s, and even before that, like the Angela Mao days. And I got into the 80s with Cynthia Rothrock's career in Hong Kong and Michelle Yeoh, Moon Lee, Yukari Oshima. Is like, so I just went nuts with the Girls with Guns stuff after this one. So now I'm like a huge fan of that subgenre of action.
Who's the hottest in your opinion?
Who's
the hottest Hong Kong actress in your opinion?
In the Girls with Guns genre? Yeah. I think Moon Lee is, personally.
Okay. Ryan is researching right now.
Right.
But this really got me into that. So that's why it was so big. And I obviously watching women do action has a different aesthetic to it, it's a different feel from men. So it was really cool because I didn't grow up with stuff that was like this great. You know, like I saw Cynthia Rothrock stuff in the early 90s with Richard Norton. They're American productions. And then when I got into her Hong Kong productions before that, it was like light years better. I'm like, crap. So yeah, that was a big one. So close.
So
close yet so far.
I'm going to ask Eric, I think we've talked about this before. That genre, how come there are no good releases from that? Literally, like nothing in high def. I can't even name a single title.
No. I have no idea. The In the Line of Duty series should at least have a 4-disc box set, because the first 4 movies you got Cynthia Rothrock, Michelle Yeoh, and Donnie Yen are peppered in throughout the at least one appearance in those 4 films.
Right.
Why would that not be a box set? And those are like highly enjoyed films, you know? I don't get that at all.
With big names. That is the best that IMDb has, sadly.
Are you serious?
She could moon me, you know?
Man, shit, that's oh, they got a few pics. They got
Why
a
is Jason
trailer.
Momoa there?
Advertisements, my friend.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I would love, and I hear whispers on the internet. Oh, maybe we'll get a Girls with Guns set, you know, but I'm not hearing anything definitive right now. So
That would be great. I mean, there is going to come a time where they're going to have to tap into that.
I would hope so.
Yeah, she's cute. She's cute. I don't see any guns. Oh, shit.
Well, the thing is with Girls with Guns films, they mix gunplay with martial arts. So you get both.
Is there any Cat 3 Girls with Guns movies?
Naked Killer would count.
Oh. So are we done? Did we pick 5? Oh, you're muted, sir.
Any honorable mentions for anybody that was really close?
Remember the Titans.
Never
Inside.
Ending Story.
Martyrs.
Legend. My Sassy
Nice.
Girl from South Korea. That was a big rom-com for me.
Django. This I watched 2 times during the lockdown, but Justian. I've talked about this show. It's my favorite show of all time. That.
Big Trouble in Little China, maybe. It's a film I probably watched more than any film in my whole life. So
Really?
yeah.
Haven't seen it.
One of mine probably would be the original Muppet movie.
I'm surprised you didn't pick that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I was too.
It was something that happened in the sidelines and grew in affection as I got older. Some of these other things were more influential in the moment.
Okay.
And I think a lot of my love for the Muppets actually came from the TV show and then morphed into loving the movies. And if I was going to pick a movie, it probably would have been Muppets Treasure Island because of when that came out and the age I was when it came out. That is such a great movie. We have no release of that other than an old shitty white Disney DVD hard shell crap.
Just a movie that left an impact on me. Passion of the Christ. Not because I'm religious, but that movie tricked a lot of parents into taking their fucking children to go see a war porn movie, dude.
Speaking of movies I saw in theater with my wife when we were younger, that was one that the church basically talked us into going to, and I took her there, and we both, of course, got emotionally manipulated into crying and think it was this big life-changing thing, and then I got pulled over on the way home.
I'll never forget my viewing. Someone, there was and I'm not making fun of them because they have Down syndrome. It's just what happened. There's a person with Down syndrome in the theater while we were watching the movie, and when the lion came on screen in that movie, he just yelled "Kitty!" and it broke the tension. I started laughing. I was the only one that laughed because like everyone was like crying and fucking sobbing, and I was like, "Thank you," because I was in such a fucking foul mood after that movie. Dude, that movie's fucking, oh my god. My grandmother was like shaking. She was like, oh, no me padre. Oh, no. Like that shit was gay.
So speaking of the kitty incident, fun topic that we've never talked about. What is the worst theater going experience you guys have ever had?
I mean, probably this started off bad, but it became good.
And you know how like the stereotype is like, I don't know how to say this without being straight up racist. But I went and saw the first Paranormal Activity, and we were in front of a group of Black women, and they were narrating the entire movie. And at first I was annoyed, but then I just started rolling with it, and it was turned out to be the best theater experience. When she goes outside, the girl goes, this white bitch is stupid. And I was like, yeah. I started laughing so hard. Worst theater experience ever is I took a girl to go see Twilight. A random Twilight, and I had to use the bathroom, and I actually shit my pants because I have IBS. I'm not kidding. I shit my pants, and I eventually, because this girl's not from my town, she didn't know who I was. Like, you know, it wasn't like, oh, the pizza guy shit his pants at a movie theater. I was out of town. I was in a different town. I just left. I left her in the theater. I ghosted. We met, like she drove, so it wasn't like I abandoned her. I just ghosted her. I shit myself at a Twilight movie. And then I married someone. It was a payback. I married someone who loves Twilight, and she forced me to watch all of them. Gotta say,
I've still never seen a single one.
Last one's pretty fire.
I've heard the last two are great. Yeah,
dude, they rip each other's heads off, like straight up decapitate each other. The whole last movie is a battle. I was like, what?
I was in a screening of. I went to see Headshot in New York City, the Iko Uwais film.
Yeah.
And some lady in the front row took her kids to see this. And in the middle of the film, got up in the front row of the theater, turned around, and took some pictures of her kids using the flash. And she did it twice. Two big dudes got up and said, "Stop using the effing phone," and she never used it again. So yeah, that was pretty intense.
Speaking of Iko Uwais, me and my friend, I told this, we drove a long time to go see Raid 2, and for whatever reason, the projector had a fucking permanent shade of purple on the fucking movie. So we were just sitting there, I was like, cool, is this gonna be like a cool like filter that they're gonna take off eventually? And just we got our money back, and then we ended up seeing another showing, and it was fine. But I was pissed.
My worst one was my wife was a front desk supervisor of a hotel in not quite like downtown Kansas City, but one of the touristy areas of Kansas City. And there was one day that she had a delayed start for some reason, and I was off, which was very rare around that time. And we decided, let's just go to the movie theater right by your hotel, and I'll drop you off at work and whatever. So we decided to go see the movie About Time with Rachel McAdams. Gotta love her.
Love her.
And supposed to be a great movie. So I was super ready, go in there. And because it was a tourist area and because we were super early, there was a lot of homeless people. And there was a drunk homeless guy literally cracking beers the entire time that he had taken in his jacket. And when he was done, he was throwing the empties at the screen and belligerent the entire time. And somehow we stayed for the entire movie. Oh, and it was only the three of us in the theater.
I went to a movie by myself and saw someone having sex. It was just us three. They were like on the other side. I was up on top, so they couldn't see me. And it was Pineapple Express. So I was like half watching a porno, half watching Pineapple Express. And I didn't know what to do. So after they were finished, I literally just went and just... That's not really awful for me. I thought it was fun.
There was another time in the winter time I went to see a movie called The Abandoned, which is part of the After Dark horror series from like the 2000s. I was the only one in the theater, and the whole movie was just, I mean, it was okay, but it had a ton of cheap jump scares. So I'm sitting there just kind of like, just wondering when the next jump scare is going to happen. And I turn to my left, and there's this thing right next to me. And I'm like, and it was my coat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that one scared me. That was the best part of the movie.
What's the where's the weirdest place you guys have had sex?
I can't answer that question.
I was gonna try to be serious and say in the butt, but I
Yeah,
don't remember where
that was
joke
the
is from
famous
originally.
line of what was it? The dating game. That was a question
Yep.
on the dating game.
There
What
it
was
is,
the weirdest
yeah.
place you made whoopee? She's like, in the
In the
ass.
butt.
In the
Yeah.
ass, yeah.
Yes.
No, so you guys want to hear a funny story? So my wife and I ran away and got married, right? And my mom was like, let me at least throw you a reception. So like 6 months later, all my Watt family who all own restaurants, we all gather at this restaurant. We like rented out the entire place. My mom hires a guy to throw games. So it was me, my cousin, and my best friend who had all in the last couple of years had recently got married. So we're playing a newlywed game. So he took the men out, he took the husbands out, asked us questions, and we would write our answers. And then he took the women out and would ask them the same questions, what they think we would answer, and they write them down. So in front of my whole entire family, he goes, "Where's the weirdest place that you guys have had sex?" And I was like, "The restaurant." And everyone in the fucking place started laughing because they were probably like, "Yeah, me too." Taylor's mom stood up and was like, "What?" And then my grandmother, who doesn't speak English, was like, "What did he say? And why is everyone laughing? What about the restaurant?" And then the question was, who does your husband think he is in bed, and who is he actually in bed? And she wrote like she thinks I'm the Tasmanian devil or something. That's what I think, something like that. But really, I am like Dick Van Dyke in bed.
This stream has taken a weird turn.
And I was like, and I was like, "Excuse me, Taylor." Like after we all left, I was like, "That's kind of offensive." She goes, "Why?" I was like, "Because that's a boring show. That's like what old people like." And she's like, "Oh, I just think it's because he's warm and nice and he's kind." And I was like, but yeah, in the butt though, for sure.
That makes sense. In the restaurant, huh?
Are you guys ass guys? Where do you guys go to? No.
You can watch Tumbling Doll of Flesh to see what I'm all about.
I love that title is a meme on this channel now.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, woo. I don't want to laugh too hard. I don't want to get any shorter. That is a good.
So to bring it back to the cinema, what do you think? We talked about the worst. What do you think is the movie that you saw in the movie theater that was the most like awe-inspiring moment that you're so glad that you saw it in theater and not at home on some shitty DVD?
Probably Jurassic Park or The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although when I saw the first Mission Impossible in the theater, that was pretty big for me too. That was pretty awesome.
I want to say probably the Raid 2. Not that movie like really truly benefited from the big screen, but like seeing that on the big screen was pretty fucking rad.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it how many times?
10.
10. So, there's some stuff like that car scene is just great in the big screen. Yeah. I'm actually for my 30th birthday, I'm gonna rent out a theater and watch the Raid 2.
Nice.
And just because I love that movie. What did I see in? I'm trying to think. Gladiator probably is a good one.
Yeah.
Gladiator. We saw Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the David Fincher one, on Christmas Day in theaters, and it was just me, my two cousins, and my cousin's girlfriend, and that was a phenomenal movie to watch.
Actually, you know what? I'm glad I saw Avatar in the theater. I'm gonna be honest.
My best friend, God rest his soul, he passed away, Randy. We all went to it opening night, right? And Randy met us there. And I forgot Randy had a stroke when he was in his mom's womb, so he came out blind in one eye. So he's sitting there, and he just has a blank expression on his face. And I was like, Randy, are you not enjoying the movie? He goes, I can't fucking see anything because it was in 3D, and his eyes couldn't see.
Oh no!
And I was like, why did you pay $20 to go see this movie? He's like, I just wanted to hang out with you guys. And I was like, Randy, I love you.
Mine's probably going to be a cop-out answer because it kind of what you just alluded to. I don't think it really benefited much from the screen except for audio-wise, maybe. But seeing with a crowd that loves horror, seeing Paranormal Activity early on in its run in a movie theater was incredible. The other one that I would say, to bring it back to my wife, seeing the original Saw in the theater, because that was one of, horror, it was one of the big era change movies. Seeing the shock and the literal gasps when Tobin Bell stands up at the end of that movie. I don't think I'll have another experience like that with everybody just genuinely shocked.
I saw the Strangers in theaters, and that was a great theater experience. There's movies like the Paranormal Activity movies, and let's say like the Purge movies that like aren't necessarily like high caliber, but when you see them like opening night, packed house, a perfect one, Grindhouse was one of my favorite theaters because it started at midnight and it was all the way through, and it was a packed theater of everyone just laughing, just having a good time. The fucking trailers, we were like, is that Nicolas Cage's Fu Manchu? Like, we were just freaking out. And just, dude, I love that theater experience. I thought that was great.
Two other big ones that I remember now. Rumble in the Bronx. And Ong Bak in the theater.
Oh, you saw
when no one knew who these guys were.
Tony Jaa. I would say this is a weird one, and I think it's more of just like it just happened. Like, we weren't planning to see a movie. We just went and saw. We drove 45 minutes to see it. The Lobster. Have you guys seen The Lobster?
Oh, yeah.
I love that movie. I think it's a great movie. That director, he's weird.
He is weird.
But he does. But like, we saw that, and I was telling my friends, I was like, it's about if you don't find love, you get turned into the animal of your choice. And they were like, what the fuck? They're like, all right.
A hard one to pitch to the studio.
So, what's that movie with Danny McBride? 30 Minutes or Less. We drove to Chicago one night just to get tacos. So we drove 3 hours. After closing the restaurant, me and some friends just drove just to go to Chicago for like a few hours. We got tacos at this 24-hour Mexican restaurant. And then we jokingly said, let's go see a movie. It's 3 a.m. We look, and there's a theater that's 24/7. We go and see 30 Minutes or Less. First time I've ever been to a theater with like reclining seats that have like warmers on them. And we just ate tacos. We were like, we're at a fucking, like, they had like tables on your seats. We got steak and baked potatoes. And then we drove back stuffed. And that was a fun time, just being like, let's go to get tacos. And then being like, want to go see 30 Minutes or Less? It's about pizza. And then
you just reminded me of a big one. Jackass 3D in theaters.
Saw that with my mom.
Was fucking incredible. Everybody literally laughing so loud you can barely hear the dialogue, but it's Jackass, so it's not that important. And genuinely, those movies are like amazing, like almost perfect films. And to see not necessarily the cinema change, but the actual culture change from the not found footage, but the hidden camera change from the stupid, you can't do that on television, or all of those other hidden cameras from the 90s to the stupid, shitty YouTubers nowadays.
Dude,
the Jackass is amazing. That's all I'll say.
There are videos of me and my friends when we were 16 trying to start. I have them on my phone of us trying to recreate our own Jackass. We would buy a blow-up doll, and we would go with her hanging out the sunroof, and we would just drive around and film people's reactions. We took her into Buffalo Wild Wings, and the waitresses were sticking like fucking wings up her pussy and like in her mouth and shit. It was so funny. And like there's videos, like there's pictures of me at B-Dubs, just like sitting next to her. We bought a life-size standee of Taylor Lautner was shirtless, and we would take him into restaurants with us, like nice restaurants, like high-end restaurants, and just set him down next to our table and just like act like nothing's wrong with that picture. We bought a huge dildo, like this big, I'm not kidding. And we would go down campus and we would hang out the side and just smack people in the back of the legs with this huge cock. We used to get water balloons, there's videos of us. I got in trouble for this one. There's water. We would fill up water balloons, and we went to the premiere of Twilight, the midnight, just moms everywhere, and we were just throwing water balloons out the window, just being assholes. Someone saw me and they called my parents, and I got in huge trouble for that. Just being 16 and stupid.
I did a lot of stupid stuff back then. Yeah.
Smacking people with dildos, probably a hate crime now in 2021, but I didn't. I was driving because I was the one with the car. I didn't smack them. My friends did. So if you can't cancel me,
we used to do like the Christian version of that because we couldn't. Similar, we couldn't get the reactions with a blow up doll, so like we'd hold my friend up and he would pose as Superman, and we'd just walk through the mall like he's flying, and we'd all just be holding him walking down the aisle. Because I'm so tall and my feet were so big, this is such a dumb skill to have. I perfected being able to like talk to somebody and make it look like I walked into a door as it was opening or closing, and hitting it with my foot and reacting at the perfect time.
That's a good skill.
It's a great skill. I went to Ontario Mills Mall in Southern California, which is one of the biggest malls there. And there's a movie theater, and we were planning on that. So we did a whole bunch of stupid pranks like that. And on the way out, I went to do that, and I kicked the bottom of the door and reacted. And I reacted so perfectly that I fell backwards. And I had about 3 old ladies that hustled around me and were like doting over me. And another friend nudged me with his leg and said, "You broke the door." The automatic door, I kicked it so hard that it came off and started to fall, and somebody had to grab it and hold it up, and it never fell, but I got the hell out of there. The best prank from that day, though, it happened to be the release weekend for Phantom Menace. And there was another movie that came out, I think it was like an Amanda Bynes movie or something like that. It was some stupid name, like The Ice Princess or something, and there was all kinds of people dressed up in actual Star Wars cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
It was launch weekend. This was the first. Everybody was ready, and really loudly I stood next to the line after I just broke a door, and I went, "Hey guys, this is the line for the Ice Princess, right?" And everybody cussed me the fuck out, and I was like, "Yes, that was a win. Thank you."
Yeah, that's a lot more fun than smacking people with dildos.
It's a lot more fun, not necessarily, but it's also something that I can talk about at church on Sunday.
You want to hear something scary that happened to me last night?
No.
Okay, because it's pretty bad.
Was it Eric's jacket that you saw?
Eric's jacket scared the fuck
That thing was scary, man. Just a
Well,
shadow
you're
in
a
the
tall
night.
guy too, right? So it's probably a big jacket.
It was a winter
leather?
jacket. That's why it was
Was it
so
leather?
large.
Was it a black jacket?
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're racist. What are you drinking
Anyways,
tonight?
Nasty scotch. Ardbeg 5. They call it the Wee Beastie. Get tons of smoke and tar in this. I could feel the chest hairs on my chest growing as I drank it.
I need some of that because I don't have a lot of chest hair. For a hairy guy, I don't have. Did you guys have chest hair?
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit, yeah.
You're not
That's
Italian
what
if you
I'm
don't have chest hair, bro.
Italian.
I
dude.
didn't want to
I
say
barely
it, but
have
yes.
any fucking. I can't. Well, I'm too short. I don't want to stand up all the way and show you my chest hair.
Isn't that
All my
soapbox
hair
down
is-
there somewhere? Just stand up on that.
All my hair is on my ass, dude. It's all on my ass.
Anyways, what happened last night?
So, about a week ago, a kid honked at a driver who cut him off, like a 20-year-old, and a car pulled up next to him and shot him in the head. And dude survived, but he's paralyzed for life, and they don't know who did it. So last night, I'm just driving around listening to my new favorite podcast, Murder with My Husband, and this car, and I'm at a red light, they're at a red light, facing me, and I'm going to go forward, and I see, and I'm going slow because something was feeling off about the whole situation. They started to pull up next to me, and their window was rolling down, and I was like, So I fucking yanked a right, and the car followed me all the way for about maybe 3 miles before I eventually lost them. And the whole time I was like shaking. I called 911. I'm like, I think I'm being chased. It was not a good time. That was not fun.
Damn.
Because there's been a lot of shootings here, and they think there might be like a serial killer in the area. But in broad daylight, like 1 o'clock on a fucking Saturday, this dude just got shot on the busiest road of town. Nobody saw the plates. Dude got away with it. So far.
There was a shoot. Some dude got shot right in front of his house. It's like 5 years ago, like not too far from my house. But that's kind of a rare thing where I'm at. But it was still kind of a little unnerving.
The town that I'm in is really safe. It's the town over. I was just like, it's like literally like a 5-minute country drive, which I was just cruising around, and I was like, oh shit, I'm in Champaign. Should probably turn around, but
I love the way this comment is written.
Wait, what movie was that? I like Ray Dong Chong.
and I like sex. So
Yeah. What movie is this? Quest for Fire? I might have to check that one out.
I love that he's trying to tell you about a shitty movie, and we're all like, ooh. Oh, man. Well, that is 2 hours. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Last week you bitched that we didn't go 3.
No,
now
I
you're-
didn't bitch. I was shocked
Just
that we
kidding.
didn't go through.
But now you want to cut it off because we could talk about anything for another hour. We could talk about
If you got something else, bring it up. I'm leading all the topics tonight, so it seemed like I was running low on fumes. If you've got something else, shoot.
So, hey, how much left of your watch list do you have?
A lot. Because remember, I did not just put a single movie on every day. I put a single movie Monday through Friday, and then 2 movies on every weekend day, and then Halloween was 4. So if I only go off of ones that we were supposed to watch that we didn't, and not counting the alternates, we still have like 15 or 16. Because for the month it was supposed to be like 50 movies, something like that.
Because I was thinking it'd be fun to do like a month-long thing at one point where we pick, let's say we have we do 4 of these a month. We pick 4 titles. And Eric, you can join us too. We can just pick each other's. We each give each other 4 titles. So each of us would get 8 movies because it'd be 3 of us doing it. And we would have to watch 1, or we'd have to watch 2 a week. And every week we would talk about those. And you would have to watch them. It's like no matter like what boring ass slasher movie or horror movie you two know, I would have to watch it. And whatever Lone Wolf and Cub film I pick, you would have to watch it. And I want to know, why do you have Bond behind you?
I just needed something. I've been cleaning. I just needed something to kind of fill that space. So
What's right next to Bond?
Oh, it's Pat Labor. The Pat Labor.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, I don't think that's Pat Labor.
Well, Bond is also still a big, it's in the zeitgeist right now.
Yeah,
it just came out.
Of Amy de Armas, is that the girl in that movie?
Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas. She is getting casted in Cinderella, the John Wick spinoff. So,
interesting.
I'm excited.
I'll watch that.
She was great in Knives Out, and I've liked her for a long time. Even
I like Rian Johnson.
That movie is amazing,
That's
though.
a good movie, though. But
speaking of shitty movies, that movie Knock Knock with Keanu, she's in that as well.
Gotta watch that. Yeah. I keep hearing about it. I gotta just sit down and watch it.
Now here's the thing: everybody shits on that movie. I don't hate it. It was cheesy in like a very late 70s grindhouse way.
Did that come out the same year as John Wick?
No, well maybe, but I think it had to have been a year or 2 prior. Not entirely sure.
Okay, so when did John Wick come out?
Keanu has had a real dicey.
Wow. So John Wick came out 2014. Knock Knock came out in 2015.
Ooh.
I was way wrong.
Well, his Replicants movie just came out a few years ago, and I heard that was just trash.
Man from Tai Chi came out the same year as John Wick.
Really?
Yeah. Which I think, honestly, underrated movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie.
Yeah, it's not bad, man.
It's his
Pretty good.
directorial debut.
That's a good
Ooh.
triple threat here. The Muppet Haunted Mansion was so great, and Blackula is a classic. And obviously, I've talked about Halloween. Anyways,
Tonight, I'm probably gonna, after we're done with this, I'm probably either going to watch more Bosch, or go to the gym, and at the gym watch more Bosch, which is what I did last night.
this is a really sad thing that I have planned, but after this, I have to scan in and put on my shelves all of the movies that I've gotten in the last couple of weeks that are just piling up. And I have to start work in 7 hours, and I probably shouldn't do it, but oh well.
I have to get up early tomorrow too. I have to get up at 8:30 for the fucking pizza truck. Get our flour and our cheese in.
Yeah.
Guys, watch out if you are fans of veal. There's a veal shortage.
Still,
we got one case, which was good, but we're almost out. So veal is hard to find.
I love veal.
It's so good, dude. And then, hey, if you're ever in the area, our veal,
Okay.
so fucking good. We have a nice, nice hard crust on the meat. You know, there's a nice crunch to it, but the meat's cooked just perfectly. All home blend, seasoned. I'm doing a podcast on Sunday. I'm going to someone's studio to do a podcast about the fucking pizza place.
Hey.
It's a podcast. He like highlights local businesses and stuff, and I'm doing that, so that's exciting.
interesting.
I'm excited. And then
How far out are you from Chicago?
about 2.5, 3 hours. And then
I need to make my way out there. We've been talking about going to Chicago since we moved here.
don't. It's terrible.
I've never been anywhere East Coast. Well, I took one work trip to the East Coast, but I want to go to Chicago on the way to doing a lot of stuff on the East Coast.
I really want to go to like Philly and Boston, and
Yep.
like, that's where
I don't like Philly too much, but Boston I thought was pretty cool.
You're in New York, right, Eric?
I'm on the opposite side of the state though. I'm closer to Toronto than I am New York.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to New York City. I've always wanted to just experience the East Coast.
Yeah, New York City, I think it depends. If you go to the touristy spots, it's a little, I don't know. But the
just
food
wanna
there is great.
I
Food
just
is great.
experienced fucking greaseball wops because those are my people. I want to fucking eat some gabagool and
Yeah.
cat call it bitches. just doing Italian things.
Yeah.
Just channel my inner Cuomo.
You need to watch Do the Right Thing.
You know what I love about Cuomo is that he killed like so many old
Everything.
people. Is that he killed so many old people, and he didn't get canceled for that, but he got canceled for being really bad at like flirting and not reading the situation. That's what got him.
Flex just came back.
Dope. You guys still streaming? Fuck yeah, Flex. We're always streaming. I did. Did I tell the story? I was at the gym a couple weeks ago, and I was bench pressing, and I was by myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to hit a PR, which was not good by myself, and I dropped the bar on my fucking chest, and I was pinned there for probably 5 minutes because it was like 465 pounds on my chest, and I was just like, oh, just like screaming and just being like, oh, and I was listening to this fucking podcast, so the whole time I just heard you two and me in my ear, and I'm like, no, like no. Finally was able to get it off, and I was so embarrassed I just left, even though there was no one there. There's cameras, so someone in the camera was like, "This is fucking wild."
It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
I hope so. Dude, those videos of like people like hyperextending their knees and then just their knees fucking going,
Yeah.
oh man, dude, nothing makes me more sick.
I'm gonna go after this. I'm gonna go Google like sad little short man stuck under heavy bar.
I hate being short, dude. It's the worst.
Being tall is not great either.
Oh, where? Oh, you guys have a fucking shorter life expectancy. Where?
Well, that and like my back is always bad. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm a fat ass, but my back is always bad. I've got feet problems. Yeah.
Hey, you should join a gym. Let me give you a workout plan, and you'll get fucking. You have the type of body that you would get strong and yoked fast.
I don't doubt that. It's sadly, I'm just a lazy fuck, and it's not a priority. Like I have so little free time already because of how much time I have to spend for my kids. The gym does not
Take
make
them
sense
with
in
you,
my
man.
life.
Take them with
Huh?
you. Get them fucking.
Take them with me.
Could you imagine?
My kid.
Could you imagine if you have like two hellions that are just yoked, like two little kids just being like, "Fuck you, dad!" Boom, just start beating the shit out of you.
My 6-year-old is insane. For like, I don't know how much I've talked about him on this channel yet, but this kid, first of all, he is 6.5, like barely 6.5, and he is 4'7" or 8
Oh, so you're
at
calling
6.5, and he weighs like 88 pounds, and he is skinny as hell. But this kid will play football in our home for like 7 hours a day and be happy doing it. And just come up after being gone. You won't see him for like 3 hours, and he'll come up covered in sweat. All right, I need some water. And then we go like check on him every once in a while, and he's literally throwing himself passes and diving and catching them in our playroom. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
Who's throwing the ball to him?
Himself. He's like catching, juggling passes, and like watching football, like top 100 plays of the 2010s on YouTube while he's doing it.
That's awesome. You got a little fucking Gronkowski on your hands.
Yeah.
We went to that vacation in Phoenix, and while we were down there, it was still like 87 degrees in midday down there because it's fucking hell. And so we're down there, and we unfortunately brought his football, and we'd go outside and play for like 45 minutes, and we'd be like, okay, we are dripping sweat, we got to go inside for some water, and he'd start bawling and throwing himself on the ground because we had to call it, and then 8 minutes later he'd be like, okay, can we go outside and play football? It's like, fuck,
Dude,
no.
My cousin is about your kid's age. Yeah, I think he's about 6.5, 7, and he's on the spectrum. And he's so fucking good at football, and like so, he's on the spectrum for autism, and he knows every player that's been fucking traded. He knows every team. He knows all the stats. And my uncle sent me a video of him playing flag football, and he doesn't like to showboat, but he gets a touchdown, and you can tell that he wants to be like spike the ball. Like he goes like this. He goes, and then he gently sets it on the grass, and then he's like. Like, it's so cute. Yeah, football's fun, dude. You know, harness that energy. Maybe they'll pay for you when you're older. You know,
I've already told him, buy me a house and I'll support whatever you want.
Buy me a house. I'll be like, buy me a movie theater. You know? Kids are great, but Eric's also lucky because he doesn't have any kids,
Oh yeah.
which is awesome. You fucker.
I hang out with kids every week though, with family
That's cool.
members.
Well, so I mean, yeah. So that's
Surrounding football.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you that uncle who fucking spoils the shit out of them, and then
Not really.
no?
All he gives them is shitty Asian DVDs that he hates.
Here's the thing. My family members already have so many toys. So like, if you ever give my children toys, I will kill you.
So you're like, oh,
So-
here's a copy of Pulse.
I usually don't get the kids a whole lot. I usually give the parents like booze and stuff to help them.
How many?
You got to give the
pieces of
kids
that
stuff
do you
like
have?
harmonicas and electronic drum sets.
Dude, my mom and dad bought my cousin a drum set, and my uncle was not happy. He was like, "You motherfuckers!" And now he plays it all the time, just loud as shit. So how many nieces and nephews do you have?
Locally, I got I think 5
That's pretty Italian.
locally.
That's sufficient, yeah.
Yeah. There's total of 18 of us totals. There's me. There's 4 of us in our 20s. There's 3 cousins that are in their teens, and then we have 2. I have 2 cousins that are 7 and 5, and then there's 2 great grandchildren in our family. So my daughter, and then my cousin Sophie's daughter or son. What's now? Does your family like Asian stuff like you? Are you like the outcast in that?
I'm kind of the outcast, but there's a few. There's 2 people, my cousin and his wife, that have watched and enjoyed those films that I like, that I've recommended to them. Most of them.
My dad just knows I like Asian shit. So whenever Shang-Chi was being, previewed on TV, He's like, hey, they made a Asian Marvel here. You gonna go see that? I was like, yeah, probably, but I never did. I still haven't seen it.
It's good.
Yeah, me neither. I'm
Really?
gonna watch it eventually.
Yeah, I took the entire family, saw it in theaters.
I want to see that, and I still haven't seen Black Widow.
Black Widow gets shit on by all the incels, but it was not bad. It's incels. It suffers from the same Marvel villain problem, where they just don't have a really well fleshed out villain, and there's nothing. That's what's always baffled me about Marvel. They have, I say that as I have this giant steelbook shrine in my background. They've baffled me because they always have the shittiest villains, but the stakes for every movie is the world's about to end. Like, how do you have the worst I don't care about you villain, but everything hangs in the balance every time?
The problem I have with Marvel is that, like, everything, it feels overproduced. Does that make sense? Like,
oh yeah,
everything's so shiny and like.
And I think that's gotten worse over time, because if you go back and look, like, Iron Man was genuinely like a cultural moment. It was a big change, and it was well done, and it was obviously a very big turning point for Robert Downey Jr. But on top of that, it was this moment of this something that people have a genuine interest in that they used to get shit on for. I can like it, and people will genuinely enjoy it. And then by the time you got to the Avengers, everything just seemed glossed over because of how successful things were.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite in the MCU is Winter Soldier, the second Captain America
so
film.
Good, yeah.
Because the action design was a little bit more grounded, and I think it really
Sure.
worked in that film.
Well, and beyond that, that was the first Avengers obviously was large in scope, but Winter Soldier, it brought things together in ways that it felt like there was real things at stake, and not the world is ending things at stake, but a genuine, like, actual drama, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know what would be my favorite. I don't think I've ever actually considered that. Honestly, maybe Thor Ragnarok, even though that is super polished. The exact opposite of what we just said. Thor Ragnarok is great, but genuinely, it's probably just because of Taika Waititi. He is such a great director. I love that he's gotten so much more popular over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember when I saw What We Do in the Shadows. That was a funny movie. And then when they hired him, I'm like, interesting choice, and it worked.
And he's made, Jojo Rabbit got him so much recognition, and obviously Thor 3 was a big part of that, and then Jojo Rabbit came, but the choices he's made has been surprisingly decent for somebody like that, because you would think somebody that keeps getting like the keys to the kingdom, they're going to screw it up at some point, but so far they're just doing pretty decent.
Yeah.
And you said you hadn't seen Suicide Squad. You absolutely should. It's surprisingly good. If you liked Guardians of the Galaxy, it very much feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Okay.
But really well done. And the fact that they brought over like Harley from the first one, it works better than you think it will.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Sorry, my mother called me. Do you have Amazon Prime? Can you hook it up? I want to watch LuLaRoe or something. I don't know. Okay.
Hey, for actually, speaking of Italian mothers, my Italian grandmother, it was insane how much excellent food that she alone would make for the holidays when she was around. So me and a few family members this time, well, most of the family members, I'm just bringing the wine. We're trying to make like homemade ravioli, meat and cheese with her homemade sauce, and we're going just all out. So that just, when you mentioned that, it reminded me of that. So that's like one of the big events this winter.
Another movie I was going to pick originally would have probably been The Godfather, just because everyone in my family would watch that on Christmas, especially part 2. I think that's the best. That might be the best movie ever made.
It's really good.
I think, like, you know how like Ryan talks about Jaws being good. The Godfather 2 is, I think it's perfectly acted. It's a perfect script, perfectly directed. The score is fantastic. There's no stupid fucking shark in the movie. It's just it's perfect.
There is hardly any stupid fucking sharks in Jaws. It's barely in the movie.
Mhm.
The tension is really what the movie is what's building.
Dude, I remember watching Jaws for the first time and just being like, okay, that's what everyone talks about.
Another film that people don't really care about. The director of The Exorcist, William Friedkin, directed a film called Sorcerer. That movie's freaking badass.
Sorcerer is. I don't know why you're laughing. Sorcerer is amazing.
It is
Yeah, it's a good movie.
badass.
It's just such a good. That's a good cut right there. What's another movie William Friedkin did? I'm trying to think.
He's done a lot of really good stuff.
I'm gonna look at his.
One of the best things he did was interviewing Nicholas Winding Refn. Right?
Wait, what? He did that?
What was he talking about? Only God Forgives, maybe? Or
I believe so, yeah.
What did he say?
the director of that movie said that his own film was like a masterpiece, and Friedkin was sitting there. He's like, "No, it isn't." No, he said a few awesome one-liners to counter. It was just hilarious. It's like not a pimple on the butt of cinema or something. He's
Freaking To Live and Die in LA and Cruising are so fucking good, dude. Al Pacino and Cruising is so good.
Ever since that Arrow Blu-ray came out, Cruising has been like re-examined, and I'm so grateful because it is not appreciated enough. Even now, it's not appreciated enough.
Dude, I think that's a good double feature, To Live and Die in LA and Cruising. Just boom boom.
Yeah, probably.
Al Pacino dancing and Cruising is so erotic to me. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even like trying to be funny. I fucking love that movie, dude.
It's a great one. I can't remember. Did we talk about this last week, or was this on the Thursday stream that we talked about Ghost in the Darkness? Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
It's a Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer film.
I remember it being pretty good.
It's great, and because it's Paramount, it's never gotten a good release. But now that they're releasing stuff, hopefully soon.
Dude, Friedkin's done so many good things. Holy shit.
He really has.
Fucking hell, dude. The French Connection?
Oh, that movie's awesome. Still one of the best car chases ever. Car versus elevated train chase.
Is Killer Joe any good?
I haven't seen that one.
Title. Oh, that's 2011? Jesus.
Yeah, and it's got decent reviews from my friends on Letterboxd.
There is one, it is one of his earlier movies.
Is he still alive?
Friedkin, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So he interviewed Nicholas Winding Refn?
Yeah.
I actually really like Refn. I watched Too Old to Die Young. Have you seen that, Eric?
No.
I don't know how to explain. It's like a 10-hour movie. I think at Cannes they played the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
As one movie or something. I would recommend it. It's on Amazon, but it's everything that people hate about Nicholas Winding Refn to the extreme. And it is. I actually really like Only God Forgives. I think Valhalla Rising is good. The Pusher trilogy, right? Is that him?
I don't know.
But man, Drive is just fucking. It's one of those movies. I think that's a cultural impactful movie. Like
Drive for sure.
Yeah, Drive. After Drive, I still see incels wearing that fucking scorpion jacket.
Oh yeah.
Where I go.
And it's going to get worse because it's getting a 4K next year, I believe.
I almost bought that jacket a couple times in my youth. I'm glad I didn't. I'll stick with my Dale Earnhardt Jr. fucking NASCAR jacket. Thank you.
Another Friedkin that doesn't get enough love is I just looked it up. I think it said 70. Yeah, 1970s. The Boys in the Band, and I believe it has a Warner Archive release, and it is pretty freaking incredible. And if you look at some of the things that he did after that, which is most of his filmography, it really shows what potential he had at that time, and it never gets talked about. It is a crazy storyline. Listen to this. At his New York loft apartment, Michael's hosting a 32nd birthday party for his friend Harold. According to Michael, the party consists of 7 screaming queens: Fey Jewish Harold, debt-ridden preppy Michael, neurotic Donald, flamboyant Emery, African Queen Bernard, and straight-acting couple Hank and Larry, who are going through growing pains in their relationship. Unexpectedly thrown in the mix is Alan, Michael's married, straight, and straight-laced Georgetown University roommate from out of town. His visit is bad timing for Michael, as Michael assumes Alan knows nothing about his gay life. Michael wants to keep perpetuating the myth, but Alan's visit is not by accident. He who needs to speak to his old friend about an issue troubling him. The ninth and last person at the party is a fresh-faced, young and naive urban cowboy who is Emery's birthday gift to Harold. Directed mostly by Michael, each exposes a little of himself throughout the evening. Michael, who in the end is the most exposed. And that came out in 1970. And if you watch it in the historical context of that year and, look at, how close that was to Stonewall and everything else, really great movie.
Freaking gives me similar vibes to De Palma.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I really like De Palma. I think those two are, De Palma, Scarface, Carlito's Way, Blowout, Untouchables.
Dress to Kill, right?
Yep.
Mission Impossible.
Obsession.
Carrie. Why we're fucking
Yeah, obviously.
God. What are some directors that don't get appreciated in 2021 as much as they used to, or as much as they should?
Should or used to, because there's a difference.
I
would say McTiernan was awesome back in the day, and then obviously he hasn't really done a whole lot.
Who's the director of Nightcrawler?
I don't know offhand.
I think Michael Mann. I think when he was at his prime, when he was
awesome.
Thief, Manhunter.
It's directed by
Last
Dan
of the
Gilroy.
Mohicans, freaking Heat,
Last of the Mohicans,
Collateral. The Insider was good.
Public Enemies was all right. But then he did that Black Hat movie, and that was not good. He's doing a TV show called Tokyo Vice, I think. I do think his Miami Vice movie is good. I do think.
Oh yeah, it is good. Yeah.
I think it got marketed wrong because that's like an art house film.
The whole middle section is drinking mojitos with Gong Li.
I would love to drink mojitos with Gong Li. But man, yeah, Michael Mann is like, it's a name that just like isn't in. You know what I mean? Like, he's got some of the best movies of all time.
All time.
I agree there. Yeah.
All time.
Like Manhunter is way better than Silence of the Lambs, in my opinion.
Well, it's
yes.
up there.
It's so fucking good. When they're playing, was it Indagata de Vida? In that movie, it's like just fucking. It's a vibe. Michael Mann, De Palma, freaking, just movies you turn on at like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
And just fucking
drink some nasty scotch.
Yeah, just man shit, dude.
And we just got Silence of the Lambs in 4K, but the Criterion Blue for that was already pretty decent. I really want Manhunter in 4K. The colors in that movie in HDR, dude.
Collateral in 4K looked great.
Yep.
Looked amazing, dude. Oh man.
That's one of my favorite Tom Cruise roles, man. He's awesome in that friggin' movie.
He's so good. I wish he would have done more bad guy roles.
Yeah.
Well, not only bad guy, you can tell it's the movies where he's not even just dressed like himself.
Or
he
Tropic Thunder.
Exactly. He steps into another role. There's something about it. When he's actually looking like someone else, he turns into a different person. But when he's just dressing like I'm a rich Scientologist, it seems to all be the same thing and come from the same place.
Terrifying in that movie. That club scene, I think is a better club scene than John Wick. Just because like there's more tension.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's just man. And Jamie Foxx, Jamie Foxx does the thing that you just said, is that when I watch a Jamie Foxx movie, I think it's just Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
But he's the ultimate black nerd in that movie, dude. Like he is just he's so good. And Jason Statham, so fun fact, they were gonna do a crossover. Jason Statham is the transport. No, he's a transporter.
Oh, transporter.
It's the same character.
Oh.
At the very beginning when they straight off briefcases.
Yeah.
That's man. Michael Mann doing a transporter movie would have been fucking cool. God damn it, my mom again.
Dude,
now it's gonna be. Do you have Hulu?
Yeah.
Oh man, Michael Mann though. That's a good choice. So who else is not appreciated nowadays? I honestly feel like I mentioned him earlier. I feel like Sam Raimi has lost a lot of respect,
Yeah.
which doesn't make a lot of sense because pretty much banger after banger. And his filmography is so varied. I mean, it's also very weird that he got Spider-Man when he did.
Yeah. I was so surprised when I didn't even know back in the day. I wasn't doing internet stuff. When I saw his name on Spider-Man, like, really?
And granted, he had Quick and the Dead, but I don't know. It still seems like an odd choice. God, what is the last thing he's done though? Because he's sadly mostly just been doing conventions. It feels like.
Yeah. Although he did kind of set himself up for Spider-Man by doing Darkman, right?
Right.
A little bit.
Oh, I totally forgot. He is doing that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But other than that, this is he did in 2013, he did Oz, which whatever, not great. 2009 was Drag Me to Hell. Love that movie. But before that, it was just Spider-Man for 7.5 years.
Yeah.
And then The Gift, finally, we're getting that on Blu-ray from Imprint.
Yeah, that was good.
You can make the argument that John Wick is from the same DNA as Collateral. Yeah. At least the vibe in a lot of situations, for sure. I forgot Raimi was doing Doctor Strange. I feel like he could do very well with that.
Yeah.
Especially after the craziness of how the budgets have gone on the MCU movies.
Are insane. The budgets are insane.
Did you hear who we were talking about next?
No, who?
I brought up Sam Raimi is underrated nowadays.
I'm going to disagree with you.
How?
I think Evil Dead 1 and 2 are great movies. Everything else he's done, I'd say same thing with Peter Jackson. I think these guys.
Oh, I agree. Horrendously overrated.
Just strike gold. You know, I mean, the Lord of the Rings it's a good trilogy, but The Hobbit proves that he's not a good director. He really isn't. Like, I think he just got lightning in a bottle. It was everything all at once for that trilogy. I
don't even like the trilogy. I like Fellowship.
Fellowship's good.
Yeah.
Hey, you. Fellowship's good, but like everything else, I think his horror movies are not good. I think the Hobbit movies are terrible.
His earlier stuff I like, though.
I do like that World War I documentary that he did. From a technical standpoint, I think it's pretty cool. But I think when horror directors branch out of horror, like I think, what's his name? The guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy.
James Gunn.
I think he's fucking overrated too.
But the stuff that he's done, you'd say that you like, though. I mean, he just did Suicide Squad.
But here's the thing: is that none of his movies, I'm like, damn, that was a good movie. I want to go buy it. It's a good. Oh, I saw it in theaters, or I rented it because it's a cultural thing. The Suicide Squad was a big deal.
See, and I disagree about Sam Raimi. I don't know how you could say that because not only the horror. But Sam Raimi did A Simple Plan, For the Love of the Game, The Gift. The Spider-Man trilogy was decent. He's got the next Doctor Strange movie, which can go either way, whatever.
Wait, he's doing Doctor Strange?
Yes, he's doing the next Doctor Strange.
So I'm going to look at his filmography here.
Darkman, The Quick and the Dead. Sam Raimi has a lot of bangers.
Yeah.
But then he's got Oz, the Great and Powerful, and he's got
everybody's got their misses.
Right, but really, that is the worst movie he's made, probably.
I think The Quick and the Dead is not a good movie.
I would disagree there.
I think that's. I mean, we're going to disagree on this. I do think Evil Dead 1 and 2 are fantastic movies.
Oh yeah.
I think Spider-Man doesn't hold up, in my opinion.
I thought the first two were good.
The first one definitely holds up.
What I want, like, a documentary on why Hollywood gives these like low budget horror movie directors just hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're just like, go make it. Like, I think that's fascinating.
That's one of the things we just said while you were gone.
Like, you look at James Gunn, he was doing trauma movies. You know what I mean? Like, and then he did Slither, right? Did he do Slither? Yeah, and then Slither's good, but then how does that guy go from that to fucking Guardians of the Galaxy? I mean,
look at the Russo brothers. What were they doing?
Exactly. And I think they're over fucking rated, dude. The Russo brothers are extremely overrated.
I think they do a good job though at balancing a lot of characters that they're juggling, but
yeah, but
that's also because they came from TV. Their biggest thing was episodes of Community, which is crazy.
What okay. The Russo brothers' names got attached, or it's getting attached to a lot of shit.
As
and
producers.
It's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't care. They're going to be the next J.J. Abrams. I don't give a. I think Abrams fucking sucks.
He's pretty bad.
He's terrible.
And then on the other side of that spectrum, Michael Bay is not bad. I think a lot of his stuff is just overproduced.
I agree.
You take Transformers out of the equation. Michael Bay is a fucking great director.
I like most of his stuff outside of Transformers.
1 still pretty fun. But you take that shit out. Like Bad Boys 1 and 2 are phenomenal. Armageddon, The Rock, even was that 13 hours or whatever? The Benghazi movie.
Yep.
And then he's doing that ambulance movie that looks great. And he's doing all new kinds of drone experimentation. No, if you get a good script, which I heard the ambulance script is good, nobody can film just destruction and mayhem like Michael Bay. There's a reason why they say Bayham. Like, he is a good director. He's just a fucking prick from everything I've heard. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of these horror movie guys that go from low budget horror movies to big budget, like Marvel movies are just.
Did you ever see this?
No.
James Gunn had a superhero movie called Specials. And it just got a Blu-ray release. I think it was last year for the first time.
That's cool. That sounds cool.
It's not bad. And yeah, odd cast, good movie.
Youngblood himself.
It's just like why do they invest so much in these? You know what I mean? Like, it really confuses me. Like, I want to.
With Raimi, it was quite clear that he got it because of the way that he handled The Quick and the Dead. And The Quick and the Dead is good. It's not a bad movie. It is a genuinely well-made movie. But the big thing is he handled real A-list stars and actors at that time. That movie has a lot of names attached to it, a lot of big names attached to it. And so with that, they said, I bet this person can handle a universe. And you got to remember, too, Spider-Man was the first major universe other than, the Superman did stuff back in the day, and they were working towards X-Men, but it still hadn't been fleshed out the way that
Blade was still kind of starting up right before that.
I mean, look at the Wachowski sisters.
Yeah.
They did Bound. And then they go right into making fucking blockbusters. Like, it's just it's so confusing to me.
A lot of those, though, it's because you can see the way that they write. And when they write, they're able to flesh things out in a way that actually translates to film. And Bound is actually the perfect example of that.
That was a solid flick.
I think John Favreau is another good example. Elf.
Chef is incredible.
Chef is actually a good movie. I do like Chef. But Chef, Elf, and then he does Cowboys and Aliens. He does Zathura. And then he does I guess the Jungle Book's newer, but then he does fucking Iron Man. Like, the guy who directed Elf and Cowboys and Aliens is the guy who kicks off the biggest cinematic universe in history.
You got to realize,
I didn't know that at the time, though, right?
And Elf was also a lot bigger than you're giving it credit for. Like, they offered Will Ferrell $20 million to make an Elf 2, and he turned it down.
How much was the budget for Elf, do you think?
All
right, holy fuck, Elf was huge. $33 million budget, $223 million box office.
I was only going to say $20 million. I was going to be way off.
Whoa. But, I mean, it just, that shit always confuses me. Like, who do you think's, like, looking...
Maybe connections. There's somebody knows somebody. There's that, too.
But why... Yeah. So this is why I like people like Ari Aster. I like Gareth Edwards. I get the Gareths mixed up.
Which one are you referring to?
The guy from... Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah. You have these guys that do really small movies that are just phenomenal, and I'm sure they've gotten offers, and they've probably
you got to realize those two that you've named have only actually made 2 movies each. That's it, just 2.
Well, I mean, didn't James Gunn only do like 2 or 3 before he did Guardians? Like that's not
James Gunn had been in the industry for a long time. Aster and Eggers had really only been doing stuff where they're actually visible for a lot of people for just slightly before their 2 big movies.
I feel like everyone who's coming, so like A24 seems like they seem like the new Troma with the amount of talent that's just coming out of A24, like people who are associated with them. Like you have the Safdie brothers, Good Times and Uncut Gems.
The difference, though, A24 is just a production company. They're literally just putting their name on titles.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is that like anyone associated with that, I take notice. You know what I mean? Like
I agree. All that means is the executives at A24 are good at making choices. It's not necessarily that they're making good movies. That's the big difference there.
They've made some stinkers. Have you guys seen the Australian motorcycle gang movie that they put out? It's pretty bad.
No, but what I'm getting at is that A24 didn't make the movie. And that's the difference with Troma. Troma, they started where they were actually making their own movies. And then eventually they got into some distribution. But it's a very different process. And that is the exact way to say this. A24 is great at curating. And
I agree.
I would say probably, I'm going to try to think of a good percentage here, but probably at least like 85% of what they've put out are not only just better than average, but like 7 to 8 out of 10 or above.
I mean, my top, like if I actually sat down and made like a top 25 list of the last decade, I would say a lot of it, probably half, is going to be A24 movies.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Like Good Times, Uncut Gems, The Lighthouse, The Vivitch, Ari Aster shit.
Hereditary.
And like this is coming from a guy who doesn't really like horror movies.
Right.
Well, like every time an A24 horror movie comes out, I'm going to watch it just because it, you know what I mean? Like they're different.
Well, and then there's still a lot of movies that were back from the beginnings of A24 that people don't really associate with A24 anymore.
Yeah,
like The Lobster.
Yeah, The Lobster's great. Prayer Before Dawn is an underrated boxing movie.
Let's see, there's
based on a true story.
Spring Breakers is like the most obvious one.
Yeah,
that hit hard when it came out, and that was, I think that is the second A24 release title in the U.S.
Wait, did they start off in Europe first?
They have released a couple in Europe, but not. I think everything they've released there, they've released here.
So,
but go ahead.
This list says A24 films by release date. The first movie was A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III.
Yep, with Charlie Sheen.
Ginger and Rosa, and then Spring Breakers.
Oh, so it was number 3. Okay.
And The Bling Ring. I even liked The Bling Ring. I thought The Bling Ring was fucking good.
And then Enemy is after that. With
that's the same director
Denis.
as The Lobster.
Denis Villeneuve.
Is that no? Never mind. That's not the. Yeah. Fuck. There's a poster that looks just like The Enemy, and it's from the director of The Lobster. Oh, Locke with Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that was good.
That's a good movie. Under the Skin, I really liked as well.
The Captive with Ryan Reynolds is in there. The End of the Tour with Jason Segel.
Tusk.
Slow West. I genuinely love Tusk.
Oh, a really underrated movie, A Most Violent Year with Oscar Isaac. That is a fantastic movie. Who else is in that? Who's the female lead? Jessica Chastain. Ex Machina, I think is the first movie
that was solid too. Yeah.
That's a good movie.
I feel like this would be a very big flip movie. I hope you've seen this. First Reformed.
Love that movie.
First Reformed is incredible.
Yeah, I'm just going through. Oh, Green Room.
Yeah, that was good too.
That's literally one of my top 5 of all time.
Yeah, The Lobster's directed by Yorgos
Lanthimos.
Yeah, so see, the Killing of the Sacred Deer is a great movie too.
Yep.
That's the poster that looks like The Enemy in my mind for some reason, even though.
Oh, and we haven't even mentioned Moonlight. They did frickin' Moonlight.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. American Honey, I like. With Shia LaBeouf, yeah. A Ghost Story.
Yep. It Comes at Night. The big one for me, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Waves. Have you seen Waves? Either of you?
No.
Waves is great. The only thing I would say that it doesn't have going for it properly is that it sort of hits its climax at about 70% through the movie, but I think that's done on purpose. It is a really good story about an individual that is training really hard to get to. I think he's trying to play football. It's been a while since I've seen it, and after that, he makes a couple mistakes and he goes to prison basically. And that climax comes, and then the last third of the movie, they have this like wind down period where with everything you just watched, your heart is beating so fast that they give you this actual spoon-fed calm down time, which is really nice.
Have you guys seen Hot Summer Nights by A24? It's got Timothy Chalamet in it.
Chalamet.
Chalamet, whatever.
Is that M. Night's son?
Yes. Timothy Chalamet.
This looks like a good movie, but it's got a 2.9. I don't know. I will watch anything with Timothy in it. I think he's a great actor. He's just The King was good. But yeah, I mean, looking at their releases since, I'm gonna say Hereditary. So Hereditary, Woman Walks Ahead, which I haven't even heard of, but Eighth Grade.
Eighth Grade is amazing.
Mid-90s
was around then.
They did Climax. Forgot about Climax. There are some stinkers in here, but
I mean, The Green Knight. Hello.
Yeah, The Green Knight. Really good cum shot in that movie.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I knew you would.
Oh, First Cow. First Cow was great.
Yeah, Kelly Reichardt.
Boys State. I mean, they just did that Val Kilmer documentary.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
I'm sure that'll get a blue release in the next few months.
Have you guys seen Saint Maud yet?
Yeah,
not yet.
Is that good?
Good quality stuff. Yeah,
I kind of want to watch it, but
yeah, that was good.
And then Zola, which is based on one of the wildest Twitter threads ever in history. Like, just crazy releases. I think The Lighthouse is my favorite of those, easily.
Lighthouse is great.
I remember because that came out pre-pandemic, and I picked Rise of Skywalker over Lighthouse. And
hindsight, huh?
Talk about stinkers. I think, honestly, dude, I think it's fine. I think it looks good. It could be good.
Maybe.
I'm gonna judge it as its own thing because I think they're not adapting any stories directly from the show because the show is very much piecemeal.
Yeah.
So, if it's good for what it is, I want something wacky, zany. I want something that just kind of combines different genres together, and it looks like that's what it's doing. So, which I'm fine with, and I think the actors are all great, all fantastic picks. I know some incels are a little pissed that they changed her outfit so she's not as revealing. It's like, dude, it's an anime. You know what I mean? Like, and the actors came out and said, like, where are you gonna find someone with like triple G breast and no waist in real life?
Hollywood.
But people were genuinely upset that they made Faye's outfit less revealing. It's like, you guys are fucking idiots. If that's what you're getting upset about, then I don't know, just fucking call it quits, hang yourself. What's your favorite A24 film underrated?
Underrated.
Yeah. Because mine would say
any of their films underrated.
I would say like A Prayer Before Dawn is pretty underrated. I don't hear anyone talk about that. It's got Joe Cole as the main actor in that. He's fucking fantastic. It's a true story.
I'm going to say mid-90s for mine.
Mid-90s?
The Jonah Hill directed skate culture movie. That movie's amazing.
Jonah Hill's great.
Yeah. And you know what? Going back to something we talked about earlier, Superbad in theaters was an incredible experience. That was a big culture changing movie because it brought along the real adult comedy of that time, which the Judd Apatow for a long time was all stemming from that Superbad.
Superbad was a great film.
Oh yeah,
I saw that in theaters. There was like a period where like comedy movies were good again. It was like minus the Hangover movies. I think those movies are bad.
I like the
genuinely-
first one, but
The first one's good, yeah.
They're like horror movies. Like they give me like a weird anxiety feeling.
yeah, I could see that.
I do think Enemy is still underrated.
I think I mean I rewatched Dune and it's just I don't know. I like it less and less as time
But the
goes on.
new one,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I like it less and less as time goes on.
I'm not even gonna bother until they actually produce the second part, and then I'll watch
They
it all
announced it
at one time.
2023 October.
Well,
No.
I'll wait until
It's
they break ground and start production before I
I
get
think-
excited.
I think what makes a Denis Villeneuve film so good is more so like the actual story and the acting. Like I think he's really good at getting great performances out of directors. I mean, he took a Taylor Sheridan script and made it one of the best movies of the last decade. And I heard that he had to rewrite some of that stuff. Dune, you don't get a lot of that because a lot of Dune is just like what they've created visually, and it is beautiful. It's mind blowing to see, but like I think Arrival is done so much better for like his taste in sci-fi, and then I think Prisoners is his
Yeah.
best movie
Prisoners is
Oh,
good
yeah.
too. Yeah.
because that came out shortly after my cousin died, and seeing the pain that my uncle had from losing his daughter,
Hmm.
and seeing Hugh Jackman channel like that exact same energy, and then Gyllenhaal, just man. Yeah, Dune. Like, if there is a sequel and the sequel is just as good, it'll be good. But the first time you watch it, I was just like, it feels very much like the new trilogy, the first movie in the new trilogy for Star Wars. I was like, wow, that's cool. A little boring, but they have some good groundwork ahead of them. And then we all know how that panned out.
Yep.
But yeah, he's an interesting. I think Blade Runner was good too. He just seems like a director that I don't know. I'm waiting for him to put out a turd because everyone is just like, Denis Villeneuve can do no wrong. He's the next Steven Spielberg, and it's like, well, he's already better than Spielberg. But you guys gonna argue with me on that? He's better than.
I
Spielberg.
found Enemy and the Blade Runner film a little bit difficult to engage with. I might have to go back and rewatch those.
I think Enemy is very rewarding on a rewatch.
Yeah.
What's that one about?
That's a difficult one to explain, kind of. It's a very, if anything gets said, it's very spoiler heavy.
How has Jake Gyllenhaal not won a fucking Oscar yet?
That's a good question. I'm going to try to read what the Enemy synopsis is on IMDb, unless it's too giving away. So
Right.
let me pull that up. It says, a man seeks out his exact lookalike after spotting him in a movie. It's a doppelganger movie.
Is there any other directors that we were talking about earlier that like started off doing like one or two horror movies and then just got handed a big budget movie? No, who hasn't done it yet is Gareth Evans, and I'm fucking shocked that nobody like. I'm surprised that his what's that DC movie he was gonna do? The
Night something or
the Deadpool ripoff from DC.
yeah, I know what you're talking.
That's
About. I
right,
forgot
that's
the
right.
name.
I'm surprised I'm surprised nobody went with that. Like he said he wanted to make a lean, like 90-minute Korean noir inspired Deathstroke movie.
That's probably why they didn't hire him.
So I'm surprised he hasn't done anything. I mean, I don't know the budget of his Tom Hardy film, but it can't be that much.
Yeah, he's a little bit demanding over control. You know what I mean?
Which good.
I don't know if he's much of a yes man. You know what I mean? In terms of just
Yeah, because he
selling out,
he edits
you know?
he edits his films. He
Yeah.
he does everything. Scott Derrickson, who's that?
That is the perfect example. So Scott Derrickson started with, his big one was The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and then he did the Day the Earth Stood Still, which that's the outlier. But then he did Sinister, and then Deliver Us from Evil, and then got Doctor Strange.
Huh. Huh.
Perfect example for it.
I mean, I'm really surprised about Evans, especially with how much of a cultural impact The Raid has had on just action films in general.
And then this is an obvious statement. Obviously, a crappy Villeneuve movie would still look awesome at least.
I mean, that's what almost happened with Sicario. Taylor Sheridan, I really think just. Oh, you know who I'm surprised hasn't had any offers yet is S. Craig Zoller. 3 low budget, great films. His first movie was a low budget horror movie. I mean, Taylor Sheridan again, low budget horror movie.
It's a horror movie.
Taylor Sheridan's first, he doesn't count it as his directorial debut, but he directed a low budget horror movie, and now he's Paramount's biggest fucking star. Yeah. They gave him a whole universe.
And honestly, that probably stems from Villeneuve and everything that he did with Sicario.
Yeah, I do think Wind River and Hell or High Water are good movies, but you can start to see in those two there's something missing that Sicario had. Right. And then Without Remorse and that Angelina Jolie one, just terrible.
Which Hell or High Water is incredible. Absolutely great
fucking movie. Chris Pine, Ben Foster.
Ben Foster's so good in that.
He's such a good actor.
Oh yeah, always has been too. Even young.
The 310 to Yuma remake, he is just menacing in that movie. So good. Yep. Babe, you want to watch a Ben Foster movie tonight? She doesn't know who that is.
God, see him in Freaks and Geeks and 6 Feet Under. He was in Freaks and Geeks, yeah.
Who was he in 6 Feet Under?
He was the artsy boyfriend of the daughter.
Okay.
The one that ends up fucking the art teacher.
I love that show.
6 Feet Under is incredible.
It's a great show. Are you guys excited for the Dexter reboot? Speaking of,
I've never watched a single episode of Dexter.
Oh man, dude, that was like one of the only shows I was like hooked. And after each season, I was like, it's getting a little bad. It's getting a little worse than the last season, and it just kept getting worse. I was like, why am I fucking? I'm already engaged. Like, I might as well just fucking finish this fucking piece of shit. Don't tell me to watch my language. I'll fucking say what I want. I'm a big boy. I'm just kidding. I love you.
He says to the YouTube terms and services.
I did have to check that my channel was not for children. So, well, it's been 3 hours, guys.
It really has.
I was joking when I said you guys want to go another hour, and then we actually.
And I tried to shut this down almost an hour ago.
Well, what do you guys want to do for next week?
Have you checked your text messages where I say let's talk about that afterwards?
Yeah, I know. Guys, I saw. So we'll talk off air. I love you guys all. Go subscribe to these two, and if you're on Ryan's channel, subscribe to both of us. And if you're on Twitch like that weirdo, don't follow us, please. What a weird question. I still can't believe someone asked that.
Yeah. And you know what sucks is when it's attached to Twitch, there's no way to mute those guys. You can mute the YouTube people, but not Twitch.
And luckily, the YouTube people can't see the Twitch comments.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
I honestly think this has been one of the better streams. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been a good episode. We got some more good things. As we alluded to a couple weeks ago, December is going to be big for this show. I think we're going to be trying to get some really good stuff lined up, including mostly just rounding off the year because there is a lot to unpack.
I want to talk to you off air about that actually.
Yeah, for sure.
I have an idea for something. So.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. And if you're bored on Thursday, I'll be streaming as well, going over announcements.